Good morning and welcome to the Greater Niagara Fishing Expo. It is session one of the Great Lakes Fishing Podcast Roadshow. I'm Chris Larson and joined by Mr. Casey Prisco, Captain Casey Prisco this morning.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Good. There's people walking around us here this morning. Just starting to get going here at the Niagara Expo. They're just opening the door. You had a chance to walk around a little bit already this morning. What do you think of the show?
There's a lot of good products out there. Definitely worth your admission to get in to see what the new stuff on the market. The custom stuff that's out there is pretty unbelievable. You know, Dreamweaver, Fish USA, Sunnies, Soko Baits, just a few of them that I've seen. It's just unbelievable how every year more and more stuff keep coming out. I'm going to give a shameless plug. Hammerhead Cowbells has some customs at Fish USA and at Sunnies. It's going to be a great show. Looking forward to seeing all the people. You know, it's wintertime. The weather has been horrible. Get to see everybody catch up, shake some hands, tell some stories. Can't wait to be on the water.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I know there's been a few people that were planning on being here. I think Saturday we've got a guest that was planning on being here that couldn't make it due to the weather. We got another guest on Saturday. Again, couldn't make it due to the weather. So it's not bad out there right now. I know there's supposed to be some weather coming in here, but if you don't get a chance to make it to the show, or maybe you just live in Michigan or somewhere else, you can hang out with us all weekend long, and we'll be talking fishing and bringing a bunch of people in. And you brought up your cowbells there just a moment ago. Let's talk a little bit about that while we've got a moment.
Sure.
We'll be bringing a guest on here in about 20 minutes, but tell me about Hammerhead Cowbells and what you got going on there.
We, myself and my girlfriend Elaine purchased Hammerhead last fall, and I never thought I'd be a tackle guy. I love buying it, and I have a ton of it, but I never thought I'd be making it, and the opportunity came up to do it, and I said, why not? So it's been pretty fun. It's definitely it's time consuming. It's frustrating at times, but it's rewarding at the end of the day. And it's going to be pretty cool to have clients on the boat, and when we're catching lake trout, and be like, "What's that rig?" Well, that's something I make. So it's kind of like, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely a lot of work. It's worse than firewood, the amount of time you touch the bells and to build them and everything. But Jimmy from Hammerhead had a great business and great product, the best bells on the market, if you ask me. And to have the opportunity to bring that to the Great Lakes, and we've done some customs. A lot of the tackle shops have wanted some customs, and we've done a few customs for each shop. And we're trying not to do too many crazy customs, but it's definitely fun. Like when they tell me I want to do this one, I'm like, damn it, why didn't I think about that sooner? Or why didn't I have Jim do it? But it's gonna be fun. I look forward to this year. It's Fish USA is gonna do some wholesaling for us. If you're looking to get our bells, contact Doug from Fish USA or anyone at Fish USA. They can get you. They have a wholesale division. They're going to be sending out, their guys to tackle shops to keep them stocked up with the latest and greatest. And Fish USA gives a ton of customs, so you'll be able to have options to get to them too, I assume. From Doug. So
tell me about that process, Casey. What is it like being in the tackle building business now that you guys are building this stuff, and what is that process like, putting those things together?
The process is you can never have enough supplies.
Yeah.
Tape is very hard to get. It takes some time to get it because it's about the size. I'm fortunate to have a lot of great friends helping me. Steve Mayo, Roy Lecture's helped me. A couple of guys, Jim, Lamar, Shane, Barry. I've had a good crew. Gets things done. I was in Costa Rica, and we were gone for 17 days. They came back and pretty much had a year's inventory built by those guys while we were gone. Like flawless. A few hiccups here and there, but it's great to have guys. It's kind of like my captains on the lake. You don't have to micromanage them. They get it. They do it. They have passion for it, and it's done. And it's great to have a team like that behind you. That's how you become successful and be able to do what you do. And last year we did over 680 charters, and I couldn't have done it without Captain Pat and Captain AJ and Captain Joe and Captain Wags and Captain Roy. All these guys that help me do what I do. Captain Todd. You're only as good as your crew, and I got the best crew in both areas right now, and that's why I'm able to do what I do. It's not just me, it's not just playing, it's the guy that
Let's talk about that for a minute. You run, almost 700 charters a year. It's probably not a lot of charters that are doing that. You have Priscoized fishing charters. So how are you Priscoizing this cowbell business? What are you doing that wasn't being done before, Jimmy? How have you added kind of your touch to it?
With customs for sure. Vendors, if any of your vehicles are parked.
Our vehicles are not parked in those places.
How rude.
You know, there's a podcast going on. Is open for free parking in that lot. Again, if you have a vehicle in the convention center lot, please move it now.
If you guys have a vehicle in the convention center lot, please move that as well.
Move your vehicle.
All right, tell me about how you're Priscoizing it.
My
We're gonna use that from now on, by the way.
Priscoizing, that's fine.
Yeah.
So there's different processes and stages, like to have stuff built. So I get the leader lengths built, I have the bells built, I have stuff pre-taped. So you just go, there's a guy on a scooter. I go along, sorry, some scrolling.
Yeah, we've got people walking by.
But we have all different processes that stuff's already made, so it makes it a lot easier. One guy's making the swivels, one guy's doing leaders, one guy's taping, one guy's pressing, and one guy's building, and then it all comes together. And it just, there's some hiccups. It's new to me and Elaine, but I'm happy where we're at right now with everything. The amount of inventory we have on hand. The biggest thing is I hated it, and that's why I have the tackle supply that I have. I bought and accumulated what I have. When I need something and I can't get it, there's nothing more frustrating being a fisherman and knowing like, man, I need one of them and I don't have it. So I won't let that happen with Hammerhead. I'm going to make sure that I have stock. I just ordered 4 tons of metal, so I have metal for 2 years, and I'm excited about it. I think there's a few new things coming out that I haven't really touched base with or made public yet, but it's in the future, and I want to make sure everything's right before I do it. I'm not going to half-ass something. So.
Yeah. If you have any questions for Captain Casey Prisco, you can put them in the comments. We'll get them to him. He's going to be joining us here for the next couple of hours. We've got some guests coming on throughout the day here, but we'll be visiting with Casey for the next few hours. If someone wants to get into fishing fishing cowbells, how do they do it? Tell me about what that looks like. And maybe
how to get cowbells or how to use them?
How to use them. Yeah.
So really what we're doing with cowbells is we're targeting lake trout. You can catch other fish on them. You get a random salmon. I've heard guys catching walleye on them. There's different products you can use behind them, spin and glows, peanuts. I like using a spin and glow with an atomic coho fly or atomic full body fly. We're going to find the depth that we want. It could be 110 to 180, 190 feet of water. Use our electronics, start marking some fish. Going to hit down to the bottom with our downriggers. I use a pinch pad and about a foot lead off a pinch pad. Send it to the bottom, hit bottom, bring it up, hit bottom again, and try to go about 1.6 to 1.8 and wait for the bite. And when there's days that they're on, and there's days that they can frustrate the hell out of you, just like anything. But it's I think lake trout are underrated for what people really don't give them the credit they deserve. They're an apex predator. I don't care what I can argue day in and day out with people on this. You hardly ever find a lake trout that doesn't have something in its belly. So they're always on the food.
Mm-hmm. Clean
your salmon and see how many king salmon always have stuff in them. Lots of times they don't. Or they're not. They're malnutritious. They're not always on the bait. Lake trout are an apex predator to lake, and they're fun. They get a bad name. The big ones are amazing smoked. And the smaller ones aren't bad to eat, and everyone's, they're not. They're eating the same thing, the salmon. Why would they be bad?
Yeah.
It's just the impression people give on them.
Yeah, I would say that there's starting to be a resurgence as far as like people being interested in it again. And, I think that there's a lot of agencies that are out there and they're trying to build it back because it's a native species.
Sure.
There seems to be some renewed interest in it and going after Lakers. And why do you think that is? Why do you think people are interested in going?
I think they're easier to target than salmon, to be honest with you. I think there's an area that they're homebodies, so they like certain areas where they're going to stay, and you can go right to that. Whereas salmon's more nomadic. It's going to be all over the lake. He could be in 100 feet one day, 300 the next day. Those lake trout are going to stay, in that area. It's kind of like brown trout fishing in the spring. 80% of your fish are 30 feet and shallower, so you put your boat in there, your chances of being successful are a lot better. Well, you put your boat in 110 to 160 feet of water, and you're in the lake trout area, you got a pretty good chance of being successful. 2 years ago, we did a lake trout study where we tagged lake trout, and I actually got the information this past, I think, fall, from one of the biologists, and it was amazing how far lake trout actually go. And it's not a short period of time. Like, it's the one lake trout we tagged in the spring, May, off the Niagara River. It was 4 miles from the river.
Mm-hmm.
That fish went in May. He left there, went past Rochester, down to Oswego, up to Henderson, past the shipping lanes, to Canada, went to Toronto, hung out in Toronto for a little bit, came back, stayed over there until like February, came straight across the lake to Watoma Shoals, stayed at Watoma Shoals till March, and then April it left and went right back to the Niagara River, all in a year's time.
Wow.
And then
so it basically did a full circle.
And then it did the same thing the next year. It went. They had the tag where it went. It's unbelievable how far those fish travel.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's chasing women. I mean, guys will chase women far.
Yeah. Especially
you. I mean, Trevor. Look at Trevor when he was single. I mean, before he found the love of his life, when Trevor was single.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that guy. He was in Portland, and he was in Wisconsin, Quebec. He said he was hunting.
Yeah.
They didn't say what he was hunting.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he was a ladies' man.
Well, Wisconsin is a really good place to find women. So
I drove through there. I'm gonna tell you, it's desolate. My first experience in Wisconsin was when I cooked off the facility, and I get to the rest area, and I had Cook with me. We got done hunting for grouse, and I wanted to let him out. I pull him through the first rest area as I come across the border. There's a 3-legged coyote staring at me, and he's not leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are Wisconsin's like now.
There must be some food there. If a 3-legged coyote can survive.
Well, something ate his leg. You know what I mean? So I don't know how much food.
He's still eating though.
Right? Yeah.
He's still eating with only 3 legs.
Yep.
We've got comment coming in here. This is from Bill Davis, and he wants to know if there are lake trout tournaments.
Yeah, Bill actually was in a tournament last year.
Yep.
And there's the guy that always, every squirrel finds a nut.
Yep.
Well, that's what he did with his salmon. And he thought that he actually had the tournament wrapped up, the salmon slam.
Mm-hmm.
So he went down to Watoma Shoals, got a local legend, Brian Gambler's rig, got set up, and I actually got poisoned by Alex. So I couldn't fish after really held his own. We ended up losing the Bill by 1 ounce and Pete by 4 ounces. But poor Bill and his teammate, Sports. But if Bill wants, and I'll put it public here for you, Bill, if you'd like this year, since you were so confident about last year, sending pictures and talking smack, if you'd like to go $1,000, my boat versus your boat in the salmon slam, sign me up, cash. I'm ready for you, Moose.
That's my favorite part about the questions.
Crickets
through our show.
Crickets. Sign off.
Always.
I don't want to embarrass you anymore, pal.
Vermont Fishing Adventures pops on. This is always great to hear from Captain Casey Prisco. Can't wait to see you this March at the East End School. And you guys are doing a salmon school this weekend here at the Niagara Show, which is already sold out, but you still have tickets available for your school.
We do. We have a few tickets left. March, right in Mexico, we are going to do 1 day on salmon and 1 day on lake trout, steelhead, and brown trout. A lot of giveaways, 2 days of great people, great food. We give you breakfast. We give you lunch. There's a lot of raffles that we give away, over $5,000. There's some Fish Hawk stuff there that we'll be giving away that Chris didn't even know about yet, but we're going to. A couple probes or something I'll hit him up for, because you guys are worth it. We really we look forward to it. It was a fun thing we did last year, and we're looking forward to do it again this year. Myself, Pete, and Rob. It was a fun weekend to see. I will tell you, I love the West End guys, and I love the West End of the lake. The East End guys, on time.
Yeah,
there wasn't a late. They were there 45 minutes early, waiting to get in.
Yeah.
We showed up, and Pete, we're looking around. I'm like, these guys want it.
They want to learn.
You got to. It's the East End of the Lake Ontario. It's a whole different area than in West End.
Yeah.
Well,
let's talk about that for a minute.
Sure.
There's the website right there, GreatLakesSpecialEvents.com. You get your tickets to the East End Salmon School and find out more information.
You can do 1 day or you can do 2 days. There's a discount if you do both days. There's also a discount on lodging. If you need lodging, reach out to me. We can get you set up. But go ahead.
Just tell me, you're a guy, you come up and fish on the East End for about a month in the
West
spring,
End.
or West End for about a month in the spring, and then go back to the East End for the rest of the year. Tell me about how the different places set up and what the differences are, I guess,
think
in
the biggest
fishing.
thing with the East End versus the West End is the West End stability. Our water is so volatile in the East End; it changes constantly. You know, the winds are predominantly west on the lake, and a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind out of Wilson, you're going out and fishing 1 to 2 footers. 10 to 15 out of Oswego or Mexico Bay where we fish, it's 3 to 4, 5 footers, or even bigger. So it's definitely challenging. You know, you definitely earn it on the East End. They always say if you can fish and catch them on the East End, you can dominate on the West End, and you see that a lot. You know, guys that go out there from the East End do very well. You know, it's the East End will sharpen your skills, and the West End will make you soft. I mean, look at Pete. Pete don't even want to come to the East End anymore. He says it's the weather.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. He's got his ass handed to him by the East End guys down there. I mean, if he wants to come down, Pete, I'll give you one of my boats. You can bring all your stuff, you know, your double divers and your planer boards that you like, all that jazz, and I'll give you a boat, and you can go out and compete with the East End guys.
I feel like I'm interviewing Kendrick Lamar right now. You're like sending out all these signals to different people.
I didn't do any
There's like code words and things that are happening
I don't
right
have
now.
the gang signals. Yeah. But no, I think it's going to be a good year. I think it's going to be later this year. You know, Lake Erie's got 90% frozen over, and Lake Ontario's got a lot of ice pack on it. So I think, you know, normally seasons past April we started seeing kings. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it's going to be mid to late April like normally years, and I think Wilson's going to be like that first week of May. You're going to start seeing a few fish show up, and all of May should be really good for salmon there. And then who knows? The rest is fun, figuring it out.
You've got the Niagara River that flows in on the West End too, and that really kind of creates a lot of current, creates a lot of different things to tackle when you're fishing on this. And tell me a little bit about that with the Niagara River and how that affects that west end of the lake.
So there's 2 current lines in Niagara. There's an upper one and a lower one, and you wouldn't know that without. I'm going to give another plug. Fishhawk. It's amazing how much current there actually is from the Niagara River and the flow that's there. And once again, without having your fishhawk and being able to see exactly what's going on, like a rig down 75 feet, maybe doing 2.2, you lower that rigger down 120, and it's going 1.8 or 3.0. So there's definitely a lot of different things going on there because you have water coming in that's different temperature, different density, and that's moving around. So it takes a little bit to get the right presentation, but there are so many fish that you can make a lot of errors and still look good. Hence, Bob Songen.
All right, there's the next attack. Tell me a little bit about you go out there and you can see that line with the dark water coming out of the river. What does that do for you as far as putting your spread out there? Because you talked about a lot of salmon with empty bellies. They don't have empty bellies there that time of year. They're there to eat.
Yeah, that warm water is bringing our bait in from the core to the middle of the lake, and when that bait's coming in, those fish are there for one reason, to put on the pounds. You know, that fish goes from being, hey, Joe, can you get Stephanie from Atomic? Can you tell her we need her? We're doing a podcast. I need Steph. I'm making sure she's here, my guest. Yeah. You know women are. We always got to remind them. Kidding. But when I see that colored water, I know I'm in the right water, you know, and your fish finder is going to show you're in the right water. The mass of salmon that's there is pretty impressive. You know, it's definitely, if you haven't seen Wilson, New York in the spring, come see it, come experience it, take the time, bring your boat, book a charter. You can go with me. There's a lot of great captains there. But come see it. If you're into salmon fishing on any of the Great Lakes, hands down, Wilson, New York in May is the best place to be by far for salmon in the spring. Out of all the Great Lakes, I've got a lot of Michigan buddies that come here. Some Wisconsin guys that I know come here. They all say the same. They're leaving their lakes to come to our lake to fish. That's how good it is.
Tell me a little bit about your area that you call home the rest of the year. You fish out of Pulaski, you head out, and you're fishing Mexico Bay. Tell me a little.
So Mexico Bay is kind of like the east corner of Lake Ontario on the American side. The famous Salmon River comes in there. That's where our hatchery is for the American side. unbelievable fishing in the fall. It can be pretty good all year long. We have some really great structure in the bay for brown trout, our lake trout fishing. We have a lot of sand up by the Southwick Beach. There's a ton of lake trout there, and then we get our salmon that are coming home to go spawn. So it's kind of a great spot. I mean, it definitely, our biggest component that we have to face is the weather, you know.
Mhm.
But other than that, I love where I stay. You know, there's options, and I love options. You can eat a hamburger only so many days before you want to try something different.
Yep.
So you get guys that, you know, want to go fish lake trout. Perfect. Well, we can fish salmon while we're fishing lake trout some days, or they want to fish browns and kings. Like, there's just options, and that's awesome that you can put a spread out and, you know, not just target one thing. You know, and the chances to do that other places aren't as. To me, I think I'm in the best area.
Yeah. When I was out there with you, we were out there in late July a few years ago. It was like, we're going to go hit brown trout. And it was an amazing day of doing that. You know, somebody wants to come out there and do that. When's the best time for them to come out and
brown trout? We're going to start this year. Normally start in March. Actually, I was looking at my phone. It's funny. Last year, February, I'd run 7 charters already.
Mhm.
This year, we actually have winter, no charters yet. But March, April would be a great time to start for browns in the bay. We troll them shallow. If you'd like to get summer months, you don't really want to be out there when it's a little colder. June, July, we have a great fishery for browns. The bay is loaded with them. It's a great time. You even get a random salmon and some lake trout mixed in there with them, or an Atlantic salmon, which is a unicorn, but we do see them too. I'm excited about our next guest.
Yeah, come on in.
Look at this. Here she is.
Late. I'm sorry.
No, listen, we're used to women being late. You were probably taking care of Tom, making sure everything was set up at Atomic.
It's gonna be okay for 10 minutes while I.
20. This is a 20-minute thing. Is he going to flip out?
Well, you can just go
We're
ahead
gonna
and
talk about lots
right
of
on,
things.
right on your little blue thing there.
Right here.
Yep.
This one of the first females you've ever had in your podcast?
No,
Here? You've
no, I think we've had a few.
okay.
Yeah, but
Sorry, I thought you were special. You're special.
You're
Just
in
not
the
the
middle,
just
so-
not the fish hawks.
I'm in the middle, so
yeah,
that's important.
yeah, you're the first one this year.
There you go.
Hey,
What are we gonna talk about?
well, at first we got to talk about this. Captain Pete Alex pops in and just says he was tuning in to help pump your numbers up a little bit. It's your friend Pete Alex.
Well, thanks, Pete. I appreciate you. Get to work, Pete.
He's always good for that.
Yeah, well, he's a ball buster.
Yeah.
But this is definitely the first time we've ever had Stephanie on.
It is.
Had Tom on to talk about Atomic, but we brought Stephanie on today.
Oh, yeah, he told me.
Upset that you asked me this time and not him.
Yeah, she's
Well, we
full of
should have him on later
full of
this
shit.
weekend.
There now. Tom absolutely told me don't ever do that again. So if you guys don't know who this is Tom's better half, Steph from Atomic.
Yeah.
She is the main reason Atomic is as successful as it is.
Nice.
Well, I'm just being honest. You know, Tom's going to see this. He's going to get mad at me, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We love you, Tom. All of us. Well, not all of us. There's a few people that don't, but most of us.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to mention names on here.
Tell me a little bit about what you do at Atomic.
Well,
Everything?
I do everything.
Yeah.
Tie the rigs, I package the flies, I do everything.
Mm-hmm.
She's organized. I've been there. She organizes. She's doing the packaging to ship them out.
Mhm.
Tom's on his Facebook. He's checking stocks, fishing reports,
It's true.
taking
This is true.
selfies, you know, playing with Jackson. A lot more stuff would get done if there was 2 Stephs and no Tom.
Yeah.
But
There is.
we got to deal with Tom.
Yeah, sometimes I gotta lay a fire under his butt and say, hey, look at, these people need their orders before we.
If there wasn't a casino out here, he wouldn't come out to this show. That's the truth, too.
That's why we haven't been on vacation, because there's no casino wherever I want to go.
Cruise ship.
I just want to go somewhere on a beach
Mm-hmm.
with.
Tom, take her to the beach. If you guys are watching this and you support Atomic,
We'll take
message him, tell him, take Steph to the beach. If enough of us do that, we'll get her to the beach. That's our goal. 2025, Steph's going to the beach.
Steph's going to the beach.
And not a fresh...
vacation each year, but then something.
That bastard.
Some fishing tournament comes up, or
Mm-hmm.
you had to buy a new boat. So
Priorities. I mean, I don't blame him there. It's a nice boat.
Yeah.
I saw the boat when he picked it up. It was beautiful.
it is a nice boat, I will say that.
Yeah. It's way better than the Penyan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what I do. I package flies, I box them up, I tie them meat rigs,
Would you like a water?
no, I'm talking.
Tom's fitness coach. She actually helps him train.
Yep.
She keeps him in shape, so he'll be here for a while because something happened to Tom, the salmon would be happy and a lot of anglers wouldn't be.
If something ever happens to him, that's it. 'Cause I don't want any part of it.
You're going to the beach.
I'm going to the beach.
You have a beach that you want to go to? Like, is there?
Wherever it's white sand and there's little drinks with umbrellas and
Mhm.
a cabana boy and
You ever think about like embezzling some of the product out the back door and pocketing some own money?
like the black market.
Yeah.
I knew this would work out well for me.
Casey has a lot of ideas,
He does.
and he loves to
You know,
share.
we'll get you to the beach. We will get you to the beach.
That sounds like a plan.
Tell me a little bit about Atomic. If people are new to the brand, they don't know anything about it. What do you guys do?
Well, we manufacture trolling flies for Lake Ontario and surrounding areas.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of shops and that we sell to in Alaska, all over the place. We have an internet sales. We sell on the internet also,
Mm-hmm.
internet store. I don't know what else.
Yeah. Where can people find your products?
As far as shops,
Yeah.
like in Pulaski, we're in all the shops in Pulaski. Woody's, we're in Sunny's, we're in Fat Nancy's, All Season Sports. There's no shops in Oswego, unfortunately. But,
Pretty much the whole Great Lakes, Canadian side. If you don't have Atomic in your shop and you're watching this, get a hold of Stephanie.
Yeah.
She can start embezzling some of that money to get to the beach and get that product in your shop. Because I'm going to tell you, Atomic by far is the #1 product to have for salmon.
Yeah.
Yes, I pro staff for them. Yes, I'm biased a little bit about it, but I'm going to tell you, if you had numbers, more salmon have died because of Atomic than any other product on the lake.
Well, there you go. There's the website. It's atomic.com, ATOMMIK.com. Tell me a little bit about what makes what you guys make special compared to other flies that are out there. Tell me. You don't have to tell me the secret behind your secret sauce, but tell me what your secret sauce is like.
I think what makes them special is all of ours are hand tied, and we have just a couple helpers to help us out, and they really put out their all into each and everything that they do, and I think that's important. People want, things that are made by hand tied people or hand tied things, and it's just a lot about what it looks like. I mean, if it looks good, then they'll probably buy it. And
Casey, you fish with them. You tell me what you like.
The quality, there's no shortcuts with Atomic. The quality's there. If there's an issue, because we all know things happen, Tom's quick to resolve it and make it right. He's a fisherman. A lot of these tackle companies I see are guys that don't fish are making product, and could you get away with it? Sure, but a guy that fishes that loves it, like Tom and Steph. I mean, these guys are out there when it's nasty rough fishing, and they love it. And when you love something, you're gonna excel at it. You're gonna make a great product. Because you care, and that shows with Atomic. Like, it's blood, sweat, and tears. I know what they go through, and like the orders. I've been to Tom's house, and if I was a cop, I'd be thinking he's dealing dope.
Right.
I mean, there's brown boxes everywhere, but it's how he cares. Like, the guy spends more time, and she spends more time processing, cut bait and flies and running around to get the stuff that they need to do than you can see, like, on face value. Behind the scenes work is unbelievable. It's a full-time job times 2. There is no break when I see it just with Hammerhead. For the short time that I've done Hammerhead, with me and Elaine and my guys running around, and they've been doing it since 2001. Am I right?
Yeah.
2001.
Yep.
He's been doing it, and he continues to grow and get bigger and bigger. And it's just, I'm blessed to be able to be associated with a company like them. Well, that's the truth.
A lot of people think we have this big, huge facility, and a lot of people don't know that this is ran out of our house. All our kids are gone, and they moved on, and each room now has backstock or something fishing in it. Our dining room is now my work area. Tom works out of a little.
It's about the size of this where we're sitting. There is one room that's not fishing related, though. Tom showed me that by accident one time. Swings and stuff. It was, sometimes you gotta, do jungle things. Welcome to the jungle.
But yeah, it's no facility. It's our house. It's just how we made it this far, and I think we're very lucky to have them.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think that with Great Lakes Company. You take a look at Fish Hawk Electronics, and I think a lot of people think that we're like this humongous company as well. But it's like we work out of a warehouse, and it's not enormous. And the same two people answer the phone that have been answering the phone for the last
I was blown
10
away when I
years.
stopped there and saw it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I drove past it and I'm like, this is Fish Hawk?
Yeah.
And I go in and I see these retro pictures of Trevor. I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
this
Those
guy
are cool.
yeah, that was,
Yeah.
he's definitely a hippie
Yeah.
for sure. But like the people were, you could tell you have a great team there as well because they were all, like I brought Cooper with me. They had dog treats, they had food out. He ran around the shop, said hi to everybody. Like everybody was just happy. And when you see that, you know, like everything's right.
Yep. Yeah, I mean the employees that we have are people that have been around for a long time, and I always tell them, I don't work in the office generally. I try to run up there, maybe every couple months and see people. But like I told Trevor, I'm like, I feel like everybody here gets along. He's like, well, they do. That's why you feel that way.
I get
So,
along with my
yeah.
boss.
So let's bring up that question. Who is the boss? Is Tom the boss or are you the boss? Let's be honest.
I think I'm the boss.
Yeah, you probably are.
He listens well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You know, they do say, Chris, behind every man is a good woman.
Mm-hmm.
I can speak for it myself. Elaine, she keeps me in line. She makes me better. And that's what you want, somebody like that behind you. So that's important.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the product line? I know you've got flies. Tell me about the flies, and then what else is part of the product line?
We have the flies, we have the meat rigs, we have this new thing going on this year. Am I allowed to talk about that?
Yeah. Bring it right out.
'Cause I'm not really 100% sure.
You can talk about death rigs. There you go.
Death rigs, that's what they are. I
Okay.
have so much other things to do. He just keeps throwing more honeydew things to me. So they are helping out.
They're single hooks. So Pete Alex has been talking about using single hooks for meat rigs for the last couple of years. Better landing percentage. And, I'll be honest, I dabbled with it last year. He broke me down a little bit, and I had some good success with it. I wouldn't say I'm 100% sold, but I definitely seen it work. I fished a tournament with Pete and seen it work, but Pete got with Tom on it, and Tom saw the need for it because enough guys were talking about it.
Mhm.
Once again, if Tom sees something that can make the product better, he's going to do it. He figured something out, said, let's do it. So they just, they started doing
Well,
that.
this was Pete's idea.
Let's not give him all the credit. He's half big enough as it's
That's not what I heard.
it's Tom's idea, and he used Pete as part of it. I mean, if you had a pie you'd have, Pete. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How Pete is. He needs to be dabble on everything, but.
He got that. Yeah. All right. I got
And
it.
if you're looking for good food,
Mhm.
perch. Tom Allen is a perch head. On top of doing atomic, he catches and cleans. I don't know how many tons of perch every year, but you can actually purchase atomic perch fillets. Certified, clean, FDA, all that stuff. He's doing it right. He's not your backyard guy that goes to the pond, catches a few, puts it on Facebook Marketplace. He's like,
You bones in there.
$15 for some perch, bro. Tom's doing it right. Nice food safe bags. Says atomic on it. He even smacks it with same hand he smacks her with.
Yeah.
Her butt, not her, like physically.
I got it. Yeah.
Right on the bag.
And we also have the meat that he
Atomic cup bait.
atomic cup bait.
Yeah.
We have that here. We have lots of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Who's watching the dog? Jackson.
This one in the closet. He's fine.
In the closet?
Gave him a bowl of water. He's at grandma's. I'm kidding. I forgot.
Yeah, you gotta watch. You're like, this is big.
I'm kidding.
This is a big deal.
And I can prove it. She just
Yeah.
sent us a video.
She just sent you a video. Make sure he's okay.
They have Jackson's a cool dog.
Mm-hmm.
All dogs are cool. I like dogs better than like most people, to be honest with you. But Jackson's cool. He has a little tinkling problem when he sees people, he gets excited,
Mhm.
which I like doing that. I pet him a lot.
You have the same problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I actually fixed it. Well, my one dog, he has a Bubba. When he sees people, especially Lane, he likes to.
No, I mean you,
Oh yeah, no, I fixed
not
that.
your dog.
The tinkling problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I fixed that. I stopped drinking before noon. we're good.
Yeah. It's a good way to help it out. Let's talk a little bit of meat then. You've got the meat rigs. You've got the meat. Tell me about that.
They've got probably, I'm going to guess, 120 different SKUs of combinations of meat rigs. A lot of my favorites, a lot of guys' favorites, a lot of your winning teams are using these meat rigs. I use Atomic Meat. but they've gone from just being a trolling flies to Tom saw the value in meat rigs to Twinkies to bait heads to cut bait, perch. Sky's the limit.
Oh, yeah.
You want us to sign that or get an autograph? No one took a picture when it was just me and Chris, Steph,
Right,
you know?
right. They waited for you.
Thanks, bud. I got you. But he's evolved his business to the salmon fisherman, and you know it's appreciated. Like the hard work that they put into doing what they do, like you don't realize it until you actually start doing it yourself. How much time they put into what goes to make atomic so special.
You
And
have to love what you do in order for it to work, and you also have to get along with your boss or whatever you want to call him.
I think wouldn't he be your employee? Right.
I'd like him to feel.
Yeah. I understand. You're doing well at it. You know, you definitely got him fooled.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You have to get along, and we get along well. Sometimes you gotta.
How long have you guys been together?
It's gonna be 25 years next month.
I got some questions now. So let's go off the rails. Here we go.
I'm ready.
How did he meet you? How did you guys meet?
Okay.
Did you
So,
chase him or did he chase you?
He chased me.
I knew it.
Right
Okay. So what was his
there.
pickup
So,
line?
My sister. Wait a minute.
You're good.
My sister.
Did you lose it?
It's right there. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
No, you're good. There you go.
My sister used to date his cousin Glenn. And way back when there was AIM on the computer, you know, where you could talk on chat.
AOL Instant Messenger.
Something like
Holy
that.
hell.
Yeah, my sister's like, hey, you want to play a trick on Glenn's Uncle Tommy? And I'm like, Uncle Tommy, 50, 60 years old. I doubt he was however old at the time. And
How old was he?
he was probably, well, we can't say.
You can tell how old he is.
No, that is a no.
Would he be mad?
He doesn't like his birthday. He just had one. He absolutely hates his birthday.
Well, no one wants to get older. But go ahead, continue. So let's hear the line.
He's 50. So anyways,
Oh, that's
you know, we
doing good.
We
Yeah,
went
we're all
out
50.
that night. Exactly. We all went out that night, and you know, it was history from there. We went to.
Did he like stare at you? Like, what was his pickup line? Inquiring minds want to know. Like, was he like, you want to go fishing, babe?
No, at that point, I've never fished a day in my life until I met him.
So he's made you the angler you are. Okay, so you owe him that. So what was his pickup line? Or did you guys just drink a lot and have a bad decision night? Yeah,
Nothing
bad boy
like
Tommy.
that. It was nothing like that.
My man.
Dinner, we had a few drinks, and we just hung out, and that was really about it.
Awesome. Well, you're two cool people. I will say that.
Thanks.
Two of my
Ban yourself.
two of my favorites. They are.
Too nice.
They're always positive people. Like you want to keep people around you, like you're happy and good people.
Mhm.
This is the people I like to be around. And you too, Chris.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, you obviously run a lot of the back end stuff. Tell me about what are some of the most popular products you sell?
Lately it's been meat rigs. Tom will tell you himself, we do not run a fly on the boat hardly ever.
Oh, you won't? He would never tell you that.
Well,
That's why we had her on.
originally,
I fished one tournament with Tom, and he's
listen.
sending me pictures all week long, and every fish has a fly in its mouth. And we get up there, and I'm like, Tom, why aren't we putting flies in the water? I've been catching them on meat all along. I couldn't risk you telling anybody.
He
Like, you
told
son of a
me.
bitch, Tom, I'm on your team.
He told me I could say whatever I wanted.
Oh,
to say,
good.
that I can't say anything wrong because
Well, you're the boss, so you can't say it. Fire him.
I'm just kidding on flies. There's a tons of flies on our boat, and you know, anything green.
What's your favorite fly? Crazy bitch fly?
You know, I really like the 41 fly.
Yeah, it's a good fly. Kebo fly and genie fly.
The Pro-Am.
Yeah.
The Pro-Am's a pretty good fly. The Crazy Bitch one, yeah. I look at the name. Everyone always says, "Where's the name behind that fly?" And it took me a lot of years to get anything named after me.
Yeah.
Everybody went before me.
But
And-
you do know it was named after Tom. He is the crazy bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we first got our boat and he had to pick the other boat, he had to pick a name, and he's like, "Come here, I want to show you something." And he's like, "This is what we're going to name the boat." And I'm like, "You can't name the boat that."
It's Tom Allen. He can do whatever he wants.
People will see that and they're like, "Oh my God." And yeah, that's where the name of the boat came from, is actually took me however many years to.
Do you guys play that song on the boat, Buck Cherry,
We
Crazy
do
Fish? Yeah,
We do.
that's awesome.
That's where these boat name came from, is that song, and
Yeah.
that's where it came from.
So you said it's taking you a while. What are some of the names that you've come up with?
For fly names?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to do that either.
You said he told you could say anything.
Well, so we're gonna get you. No, you.
Go ahead.
I'm saving you here.
No, yeah.
Tom definitely naming the flies.
Mhm.
She's just packaging them. We're gonna get you to the beach. That's happening. So start researching while you're sitting over there today. In the next couple of days, start researching where you want to go, and we're gonna make Tom book it before we leave here Sunday.
Oh, yeah, there's a good chance about that.
You gotta go into this thing positive. You're not gonna go out and catch lock every living fish if you're not gonna
Just
try.
a fly name, and he'll be like, well, yeah, okay. And then it just kind of gets swept under the rug. And
So
next
Elaine-
thing I know, there's a fly, and it's like, oh, I said that, and you said no. So
Well, he was just trying to make you feel special.
again, we're back to, you can't take attention away from me.
We do that with cowbells, and I will tell you, Elaine's come up with some good names. You know, and I listen to her. Tom, are you listening, Tom?
Sometimes we have good ideas.
All the time. I've never met a woman that doesn't have a great idea. I tend to listen to all your ideas.
Yeah, I think that's
Same thing with your wife, right? Chris?
exactly. That's important to
Yep.
have that lady in your life to bounce ideas off of, and sometimes they tell you that your idea is dumb. And as
If
men,
they say that, it is.
Yeah.
Just don't even argue it.
Because you have to be honest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, honesty is huge.
I mean, come on.
well, Steph, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't ask you about before you head out of here?
I can't think of anything. I really appreciate the help getting me on vacation, though. I mean, we
We're on it.
One vacation.
We're making this happen. Dirty Goose is getting you a vacation booked Sunday.
Right. You fly if you get me.
I don't want anything. You guys have been great to me. I'll do it for free. 2 nights. You're going for 5
No,
days.
I'm like too nice. You don't want anything.
Well, I appreciate that. We're gonna get you there.
Wow.
There's one thing that Casey does well. It's helping out with marriages. I mean, he's really good at making sure that all that stuff goes
We're doing
well.
that.
Yeah, I think that would be
We're not getting married.
Married couples count.
Yeah, we'll see. A relationship.
Relationship advice.
Yeah.
That's like different. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
definitely do that. I don't know if you know this next guy, but I'm going to tell you his beard game is strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that do it for women? Is that like yes or not really? You can be honest.
It doesn't do it for me.
Right. It doesn't do it for me either.
Some people, can we braid it while we're here?
I don't know. I don't even know if it's real. Tug on it.
Let's bring him in.
Come on in.
Stephanie, if you can pull that. Yeah, thank you. Pull that microphone off of you, and we'll give that to this young gentleman.
I'm giving you a
coming
hug
in now.
goodbye.
Appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks, Steph.
Thank you.
I'm not hugging you. You can hug me. There you go. Yeah.
Let's bring him in. He is a new guest to our show. Welcome.
Hey,
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, bro, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you got marriage counseling going on?
Whatever you need, I got you.
You want to clip that on your?
Flip it on your beard.
You can
I
clip
will
it on your
too.
beard if
I'll
you
do
want.
that. I'll do that. So you got anything we need, huh? You're a one-stop shop?
I can do it all.
Bro, I got that Duck Dynasty energy. I'm not sure that I can,
I see that.
there we go. Maybe we'll go like that.
Yeah, we can go like
I got you
that.
too fuzzy on your microphone.
Well, we'll let people. If people can't hear you, they'll
There we
definitely
go.
let us
Okay.
know. All right, it's Christian Carlson from
That's right.
Northeast Trollers. Tell me a little bit about Northeast Trollers.
Yeah, so Northeast Troller's been in business for about 9 years.
Mhm.
Our main market is the Central Maine. Like our hometown is in Central Maine,
Mhm.
so we do a lot of the Northeast stuff. Hence Northeast Troller.
Mhm.
So for us, originally it started off with brook trout, lake trout, landlocked Atlantic salmon, rainbows and browns, that kind of stuff. And then about 3-4 years ago, we started coming out to the Great Lakes and made some inroads there, and so doing some of the bigger pattern stuff. And here we are.
We say bigger pattern stuff.
Yeah.
What are we making?
Yeah, so 3.5-inch spoons, 3 3/4, 4.5-inch mag spoons, paddle flashers, 10-inch or 11-inch paddle flashers, fish flashers, lake trout dodgers, all of that good stuff.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Very cool. Tell me about. So you started in Maine.
Yep.
And Tell me about some of the fisheries up there that
Yeah.
you guys were working in before you went to the Great Lakes.
Yeah, so like I kind of mentioned, brook trout is a big deal for Maine. We have some absolutely gorgeous brook trout. Sebago Lake, Moosehead Lake especially.
Mhm.
There's been some absolute monsters that have been caught out of there. I think I personally saw one that was like 7 pounds 4 ounces. So
That's a giant.
That's a giant. Yep, that's a real one for sure.
For sure.
So that's a great fishery up there, and we have we'll say an up and coming brown trout fishery. We're using that C4 Ellen strain like you guys have been using for years, and we're starting to see a lot bigger fish coming from that. So that's exciting for us for sure.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about trolling some of those lakes.
Yeah.
What
Like what are you looking for?
Well, I'm just curious. I mean, when people in this room and most of the people that are listening think about trolling, they're thinking about big water trolling. What's it like to go and troll on a smaller inlet lake?
Yeah, before I moved to Maine, I lived in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So Lake Superior was, literally at our doorstep. And so there was a difference for sure in trolling techniques on something like Lake Superior to a lake that's, 700 acres or something like that. So a lot of tight real estate for your downrigger lines or, running lead. I mean, a lot of the old timers out there will fish for lake trout. They call them toad by putting all of the colors of lead out there, dragon bottom, real slow, big Murray style spoons, old school spinner blades with suckers or whatever. And so that was something to kind of like learn, test out, feel out, and get reacquainted to that type of fishery. But a lot of the general gear is the same, just we end up using it a little bit differently and kind of smaller scale than anything you see here.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a cool fishery for sure.
Casey, you got questions for Christian?
I just I like the lobsters from up there in Maine. I don't, I went up there and did some lobster fishing. I have several clients that come down and bring me lobsters. And do you eat lobster?
Listen, man, I don't eat fish. I don't eat lobster. I know. It's a weird deal, isn't it?
Chickens, pigs, cows, and something else, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not even a philosophical deal. If those things were built out of steak, no problem.
So you've tried it and you don't eat it?
Yeah.
You don't like it?
I know. Yeah. That's why we're sitting on this couch here, Casey. Go ahead and prod around.
I didn't know about that.
I know.
That's new to me.
It changes things, doesn't it?
No, the beard's I'm still sold with the beard, No, so he comes down and fishes with another guy out of where I fish, and
shout out Captain Mike.
You can shout him out.
All right.
I'm not shouting him out. Sorry, Mike. I like you and all, but whatever.
Like that.
No, he's a good dude. But I see this guy's beard go by, and I'm like, who is that guy? And then I call up the guy's boat he's on, and then I realize who it was. So I was intrigued by having the beard, and to be honest with you, he's made a good product. I mean, I obviously pro staff for some other companies, probably his competitors, but at the end of the day, I think there's enough room for everybody out there to have some of the market, and that's why I thought it'd be cool to get him on here. And he was a taxidermist. He was sending back fish that looked like ducks, so that pretty much ended out real quick. You know what I mean? You can only get away with telling somebody that's a toad and it has feathers for so long, so he got rid of that. But I think he makes a great product. He definitely has some cool ideas, and that's what's cool about the fishery is like the more guys that you can get pumping new ideas into it and different patterns, it's intriguing. It's like, look at that. Why didn't I think of that? Or that works, and it's cool to see. Like, I like that he has a passion to do it. And, even though I don't pro staff for him, he's always been awesome to me. Shake my hand, say hi, like bust balls, on the other boats and everything like that. Like, I like that. I like people like that. I don't know him that well, but he seems like a good guy. So until he's not a good guy, he's okay with me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm super thankful for to Casey's point. I'm not looking for a fisherman to be a walking infomercial for me. For if I can have a single product that's hanging on their spoon pad, that's amazing. I think it's an incredible deal just to be able to edge into the fishery down here and to make some inroads, make some friendships and that kind of stuff. And I realize that there are there are industry connections that run really deep, and that takes time and all of that kind of stuff. But it's been really, really awesome to make new friends and meet new people and make connections and network and all of that kind of stuff. And it's still in getting catch pictures from customers or captains or whatever it is, I still get that dopamine hit. Like I was actually on the boat, to see one of my lures, fire and take fish for people. So yeah, that's really exciting.
Very cool. Christian will be with us for the next 15 minutes. If you got questions for him, drop them in. You can always ask questions of Mr. Prisco as well. We'll be here for about another hour and a half. Tell me a little bit about, Casey said he likes stuff that's cool and different. What are you doing that's differentiating yourself? What's he talking about when he says something cool?
So I think one of the things that is helpful for us is like we're not a gigantic company. I mean, you see most of the company right here.
Yeah.
My family also helps do a lot of it, but we're small enough to be nimble. So if Casey or another fisherman or a captain has an idea of like, okay, I have this wild idea, let's try this thing. A lot of the custom patterns that I have now have been, kind of harebrained ideas, like just try this and see how it goes. So being able to do custom stuff, kind of on the fly quickly, has certainly helped sort of leverage us into the industry out here a little bit. So, glow is a very important deal. UV is a very important deal. We've upped our game on our glow stuff. So we have a very, very bright glow starting this year. We've retooled a lot of things to try to get the maximum impact with that. And so, for customers that are looking for custom, painted stuff, I'm always into that kind of stuff. Get my Facebook or my website. But we're, trying to blend some old industry patterns that people know and love, and then give them a new tweak and do some different stuff with them for sure.
So there's this website, northeasttroller.com. You can go on there and check out all of the new products he's putting out and some of your favorites too. Tell me about what are some of the things that are on there that are kind of your most popular products.
Yeah. So Lake Ontario, there are a handful of different products. One is the Confused Carlson, and I'll let you figure out however that one came to be named.
Probably from going from taxidermy business
to the
lures.
whole duck lake trout thing.
I mean, definitely got to be confused.
Marijuana is legal in Maine. Not saying he does it. Not saying he does it, but that could have been,
paint fumes are strong, right? That's thing.
It's definitely
that Confused Carlson actually was named a different thing at one point in time, and there's one particular captain who we may have named before out of Mexico Bay. Captain Mike, shout out down and tight. That ended up calling it the Confused Carlson on the radio, and then it just kind of like went that way. So I've got stores that were asking for it, other captains calling it that, so I had to change the name. So the Confused Carlson is a real popular one, as well as the Down and Tight spoon. That's another very, very popular one. And if you can't catch a fish on either of those two spoons, there's probably should just go back for the docket.
Tell me about those spoons. What do they have?
So the Confused Carlson is a bright glow front and back, and it's got some green and black and crushed ice on it. So there's some UV reflectivity as well as that bright glow. I also make that in a yellow pattern, and then for my Lake Michigan guys, I've been doing it in blue as well, and it's inspiring out there. Brian from Big Lake Little Boat, I think you might be watching. I know that you caught a massive king on that spoon last year. And then the Down and Tight is a very similar to a Die Hard kind of pattern. It's got a yellow nose, a black edge, and then some yellow tape going across, but the whole spoon is glow, and then it's got that hex nickel back on it. And so it's a pretty versatile spoon in very slight conditions as well. And that's been a really good one for kings and browns, and there's been steelhead caught on that as well for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned Brian from Big Lake Little Boat. Yeah. He's a Lake Michigan guy.
He is, yeah.
Tell me about kind of where you're shipping these things.
Yeah, so we're I'm super thankful to be creeping out more and more westward all the time. And so guys like Brian and Max from Big Lake Little Boat have been really, really helpful. They've got a great YouTube channel, and that certainly helps spread the word. And then here on Lake Ontario, we're in a number of different shops, and more coming this year. And then we're always shipping them, from our website as well. And so I know that we've got product all over the Northeast, here in the Lake Ontario region, and then as far west as Wisconsin. Actually, there's a shop out there that carries our product as well. And
so every lake, every area kind of has its like, you need this color, you need this pattern for this area. What have you seen as far as what you're shipping to different places? As far as different patterns, different colors?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. There are so many like different variables that go into it as well. It seems to me that especially like the Mexico Bay guys here on Lake Ontario, if it's not yellow, if it's not bright chartreuse yellow, you're kind of missing the boat. Green obviously is a standard here on Lake Ontario. And then certainly, I mean, this is no secret, blue on Lake Michigan is kind of it. And so anything with a little flash of blue and some glow will do. Although, Brian and Max have been killing it with the coho killer spoon, which is a bright chartreuse and orange. And they did really, really well on that last year as well.
Yeah, orange is a big deal.
Yeah.
In that neck of the woods,
Yeah.
especially in the spring, everybody wants orange.
Yeah. Yeah, and that spoon was on fire. I think for the most part, if it swims, that spoon caught it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't need to tell any secrets or anything like that, but how do you make a spoon? Tell me about that. Like what that process is.
Yeah,
like.
there's a handful of different ways that certain companies will go about it. So I don't physically own my dyes, but I own the rights to all my dyes. It gets run through a stamp. And it can be a bunch of different types of metal, nickel, silver, brass, gold, and then we hand paint every single one of those buggers. And so you start off with whatever paint scheme it is that you're working for, and then tapes come in, and plenty of clear coat to keep the whole thing buttoned down.
Yeah. What does your day look like on a normal day?
Wake up and go, oh my gosh, there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And check the website and try to hustle out some mail orders. And then usually towards the evening, getting stuff pre-painted for, the upcoming season or where the season is changing. In Maine, it seems like our seasons are starting earlier and earlier in the year. This is a little bit different. Winter actually came back this year, which I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, going out to the shop, painting spoons. I do all the split ringing, and then my wife and daughters do the packaging and that kind of stuff. So kind of trying to keep everybody moving and going in a consistent, smooth process. And then we're a friend of mine. If you've been to any of the shows, you've met my buddy Pete. Pete is an innovator for sure, and so Pete and I are always talking about different things that we can maybe bring to the market or different spins on things. And so you guys will see some of that this coming year for sure.
You do any ice fishing up there in Maine?
Yeah. Pete and I used to ice fish a lot. I've gotten out of it. I've become domesticated a little bit in my old age. But our ice shack used to have a perma-smell of bacon. Even if
Nice.
Casey could get into that.
I like bacon.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing wrong with bacon.
So yeah, we would ice fish quite a lot. That was a lot of fun. And then, like I said, I don't know, kind of got domesticated. We have kids, and so our weekends get tied up and all that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah, that'll do it. You'll end up going to soccer tournaments,
All
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hockey tournaments.
Casey, what do you got for Christian?
I just think it's really cool how you got into it. Obviously you had a passion for fishing to get you to start making the products. And then I like how you hit the ground rolling and have expanded. It's been cool to watch you grow. I like that, and like I said before, I pro staff for your competitors, and he was cool enough to come to me and ask me if I wanted to run something, and it wasn't like he forced it down my throat, Chris. He actually asked, and I just told him, I said, listen, I appreciate it, and he wasn't asking me to talk about it or anything. Like, he just said, here, I said, I'll be honest with you, I won't use it because I'm loyal to who I'm loyal to, and there was a respect there, and that's why I actually have become friends with him and been able to talk to him. It's fun. He's a good dude, and I like that. But it's cool to watch him follow his dream, and that's cool for anybody, no matter what it is. And I like seeing that happen and watching it happen. It's cool.
Yeah, the dream thing's kind of real. Probably most of the guys that are watching now, I started fishing when I was little, and I think I was in second or third grade when I got my first fly rod, and when I was 12 or 13, started picking night crawlers and selling them off the side of the road, and we lived in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan at the time, and one thing led to another, and I couldn't pick night crawlers fast enough, and so started dealing with wholesalers and that kind of built, and then started doing trap and bait and offering that, and so and did a little bit of tackle crafting at that point in time, just worm harnesses for walleye and that kind of thing. But I've always loved fishing, and I've always had an interest in the fishing industry, and so honestly, just being a little slice of it is a dream come true.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's we were talking with Stephanie a little bit earlier about a lot of us being in our 50s. You're not in your 50s. You look around this room here right now, you see a lot of guys with gray hair walking around. You're a younger guy, put you around probably 30-ish.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be 40 in July, but I'll take that.
All right.
Yeah.
It's the beard that's
Yeah.
throwing you off.
Well, it used to be too. It used to be like if I didn't have facial hair, I looked like a baby, and you know, there's a little more white happening in there, so that's gonna go the other
Maybe
way.
that'll be a spoon for you, baby face.
There's yeah, you
This year's 2020 special, baby face.
Just, tell me a little bit about what it's like to be, does that make you a millennial?
I
You're
think so,
40,
or
I
like
think
right
so.
on the edge of an Xer or
Okay.
a millennial. Yeah.
All right.
Listen,
What's
you know
like
what?
to be in this
He's not,
industry?
even if he breaks the rules for millennial because he actually works and
Yeah.
gets stuff done.
Yeah.
And he's a go-getter. Millennials aren't go-getters. If you're a go-getter millennial, you could run this place.
Yeah.
You could run
Start
this
to
generation.
come, and they will.
They will, 100%.
Yeah.
Shout out to my go-getters.
They're gonna take. Yeah,
Yeah.
get it. If you're
Yep.
getting it, go get it because it's yours to take. There's too many lazy people that don't want to get it. But it's cool to see, like, he's got a family, but he still makes time to do it, and he's passionate about it. And like,
Mhm.
once again, another guy. You don't know the amount of hours that he's actually putting in doing this, but his day doesn't stop. It's not a 9 to 5.
Not at all.
It's wake up and stress about it all day long and take the phone calls. And like, I know from some of the shops that I've worked with him, he's very good with them. If he says he's going to do something, he's getting it done. Guys that run his products, say, can't speak highly enough about you. How great you are to deal with, and generous and all that. Your time and your efforts that you put forward to them, and that's what it's about. It's a small community, and you want to keep the good guys, Chris, in the circle.
Mhm.
The bad guys, you need to expose and get rid of.
Yeah, I think for me it's just a huge honor,
Yeah.
honestly, to have people run my product and have trust in me. I think it's just a huge honor to have a seat at that table.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate coming in and having a seat with us,
Thank you so much.
chatting with us.
Appreciate
It's
it.
good to meet you, and I'll have to swing by and see your booth
Sounds
here
good.
later on today.
Look
But
forward
really
to it.
appreciate you coming in, and it's Northeast Troller, Christian Carlson. Appreciate you swinging by. We can pull that mic off you and let you
perfect.
go. And
I'll yell to Billy. He's right across the way.
we've
Hey,
got
buddy, thank you.
Man.
Have a
another
good
guest
season.
coming up.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna
Bye,
have
bust your balls.
Sounds good.
Casey's gonna go grab our
Bill.
guest.
Billy.
We've got Bill Stupinski.
One of my favorites. Billy is just an all-around, another great guy. You know what you want to name this podcast segment? Good people.
Good
'Cause
people.
We have good people. It's Billy's just an awesome guy. Never ever negative. Come on in, Billy. Look at him walking.
Hey, come on now.
I'm going to tell you a little story. He's got a foot cast on.
Yeah.
Quite a big fish.
No, it wasn't a fish. How long you been married?
25 years.
His 25th anniversary. He was chasing his wife around.
This on you, Bill.
Took a turn a little too fast and blew out his foot, but he caught her.
I caught her.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on.
No,
Larson, I know I've seen you many times, so
yeah.
it's good to finally have you on the show.
You've never had Billy.
We've never had Billy on the show.
Never got a chance. Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here.
I hear his beautiful voice over there every time I come here.
He's so happy. He's got a contagious laugh. He's just an awesome guy. I met Billy a long time ago at the Triple S show with Rob from Fat Nancy's, and he actually took me to the ballet, the Canadian ballet.
That was an experience.
It was
Yes.
it was an amazing experience. But he's just an upbeat, happy guy who really, you can tell he's happy in life. He's happy where he's at, and it's just, he's that type of guy you want to surround yourself with to be around. Like, you'll hear his laugh at the show. But Triple S show, he does a giveaway, and it's an event. Like, he's passionate about what he does, and it shows. And another guy, good people.
Mhm. Well, tell me about Casey. Wanted to have you on and talk about Gibbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about what you've got going this year with Gibbs.
You can talk about it all. You got Billy reps a lot of great companies. Some I pro staff with him with, and some I don't. But hit him up, Bill.
Yeah, no, for
Shameless plugs.
just no shameless plugs, but just to give you a little history of myself.
Yeah.
I kind of grew up in the Buffalo, New York area.
Okay.
Started working for a retailer when I was 15 years old,
Mhm.
tying egg sacks and pouring lead at the time, ripping weights for the salmon fishery back in the day,
Yeah.
and packing worms. So that's what I did up until the age of 16 when I could, work officially and drive back and forth to the fishing and hunting shop.
Yeah.
And did that all through high school, through my college career at the University of Buffalo, and then went to work for a distributor for 3 years, and I've been a manufacturer's rep for 30.
Wow.
So I've been fortunate. For me, I always say it was a hobby that turned into a job.
Mhm.
So I've been blessed in that sense. And then, throughout that way, you get to meet people like Casey and it become your friends more than business associates. That's what's been really cool.
Mhm.
But been blessed to work with some great factories, and Gibbs Delta is just one of them. And just a lot of cool things going on. What's really neat is we had the kind of the big umbrella of the Gibbs company take over the Michigan Stinger a few years back and really add a lot of fuel to the fire. They've got the financial resources where they can, boy, let's bring new product to market. What can we do different? And, not only what they've done with the Stinger brand, but what they've done with the Oki brand and a bunch of the other ones under their umbrella. It's been pretty exciting. And then we get people like this guy over here who always comes to us and helps design new color patterns, do palettes, find out what's working. And, he kind of helps us take that brand to a whole nother level. I'm not kissing his rear end because I've known him long enough. I don't think I have to.
Yeah.
But
he still enjoys it.
I do. It's not like a Straczynski kiss. Let me tell you.
But no, it's been really good. So we're also looking. We always look to acquire other vendors out there too. So if there's anybody out in the fishing world that looks to want to sell, primarily focus on the Great Lake markets, they're in acquisition mode. It seems to be like so many industries, the bigger getting bigger. And but what's cool about Gibbs is when they acquired Stinger, they still kept Rob Belmore and the family running it. They still kept it in the States. So he's still doing all the paint and all the packaging and everything right there. They're not like some of these other companies that I've seen over my life that buy a brand, and then what they do, instead of taking 500 SKUs, they bring it down to the top 24, get rid of everything else, and you kill the brand. And what people have spent their time and energy developing.
Yeah.
That's not the case with Gibbs Delta, what we've done with Stinger.
Yeah. And we say Stinger, it used to be Michigan Stinger. And you go to Stinger, you open yourself up to have guys like, is Casey going to fish a spoon called the Michigan Stinger? Well, maybe not, but you drop that Michigan name and all of a sudden you can put it in a lot of different other places.
Exactly. And that's one of the things too, you realize, Gibbs Delta on the West Coast is dynamite. The salmon fisher out there, you go into a fishing tackle store, you'll see 4 foot, 8 foot, 12 foot long runs of Gibbs Delta, Oki products. You come out here, and that was an early challenge, is they said, hey, Billy, we want you and your agency to sell Gibbs. You could get some, good dealers and friends, put it on, but people don't identify the brand. But Stinger is kind of helping them launch into this area.
What do you have? Do you have some new stuff this year you guys are excited about?
We do. We have mostly along the whole platform. If people aren't familiar, we've got 4 different size spoons. Everything from our Scorpions, which is super hot and heavy for the walleye fishery, and then Lake Ontario, the early brown trout fishery. And then we've got our Stinger size, which is probably the most popular series on the most broad colors. And then we have our Stingrays and our Magnums, which tend to really start taking into effect in that mid-summer to late summertime when those fish people want those bigger baits. We've brought out a bunch of new colors. And Casey helped us launch 4 new ones last year, and those are still going super strong for us. So that's new. And then we also, in the paddle market, came up with some new colorations and designs. And I'll tease you a little bit. You're not going to see it this year, but we got some really exciting stuff that we're developing for 2026 and beyond, too.
Very cool. Casey, tell me about some of your favorites.
So I've been running Stingers since I've been coming to Great Lakes, long time. The east end of Lake Ontario is primarily a Stinger end. There's a lot of great companies that make spoons, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Stinger's got its chokehold on the east end, and just for using them, and I got to meet, through friends, Tom and Andy and Rob and Dave Filato, Rob Belmore, who's he's the main guy now at Stinger, and just another awesome guy. Guy is always positive, funny, happy, like great dad, great father figure to his kids and his wife. And it's just, I went to Stinger and same thing, small little building. You would never think, like, you pull in this long driveway and you pull up to a garage and you're like, I must be lost. And then you open the door and it's like, get in a candy closet. There's just spoons everywhere and paddles, and there's a bunch of employees there. Once again, all happy. Cooper actually went there too. He's been all the big spots. Cooper's like a celebrity when it comes to that. He loves fishing tackle spots. So I bring him in, and there was treats for the dog, and he hung out with all the girls in there, and it was kind of like production stopped for that day. So like the number went down a little bit. That was Cooper's fault, not mine. But no, Stinger's definitely come a long way. Rob's super passionate about it, and you got a guy like Billy promoting it. And Gibbs is a great company. I mean, they've been very, very generous and good to me. I pro staff for them now for 5 or 6 years, I believe. And, the support that's there, they listen, they want to make their products better. They want to catch you more fish. They're like he said, the money end of it they're not afraid to put the money out there to do what they need to do to make it happen for you. Like they've reached out to different companies with, let's make this, and we're going to make it better. And they aren't getting rid of people. They're keeping the jobs. They're just making Gibbs better and better. And
yeah, one of the ways, if I can chime in, they're
Sure.
responsibly aggressive. That's what's nice. They really do treat it like a family operation, and invites all the time too. Billy, come out to the West Coast, and stay at my house, and then we can talk some business. Bring your key people out. So it, like Casey says, it's something that through my 30 years as a rep, and even before then, a lot of that's been lost in the industry. You get some of these big conglomerates, and you're just a number or a name, and it's kind of sad. That's something you don't find with Gibbs Delta Michigan Stinger.
You said you guys are in kind of acquisition mode, looking for what are you looking for when you're looking to acquire a company?
Oftentimes, when we're in acquisition mode, we generally like to look for something that fits within the market that we trend. Not only in the Great Lakes region, but we also have a saltwater portion of our business that's pretty strong. So while I mentioned to you we're dominant on the West Coast, on the East Coast saltwater, we're really not known. So we're looking at brands on that saltwater coast that make sense. We want generally a brand that's developed. We love a family-run company. If there's an area where maybe somebody's just done it for a while and they're just, tired, that's where we'd love to come in and help elevate the brand. We want to keep you working. You want to keep making the baits, great. If not, we'll look in-house to make those products. We also look at brands that we feel we can put some juice behind and take them to that next level. Both through marketing, both through product design. And one thing Gibbs is really good at is taking a company and helping the manufacturing process. One thing we were able to do with Stinger was helping organize, timing and the flow of getting your hooks, getting your split rings, getting everything in time to help the production process. Then it makes it easier on the people putting the baits together, helps with the cadence of when the products are needed. So those are the things that we're looking at.
Now, you guys worked together on a project last year. Tell me about what that was like.
Billy had asked me, I believe, would I help develop some colors, and I spent a lot of time in the water, and I had a few ideas, and we came up with 4 spoons. It was the Dirty Goose series. I'm going to draw it. I think one was Glow Can't Afford It, which was a knockoff of the UV Can't Afford It, but a Glow one. Cooper Boy was a natural bait. The Dirty Snowman, which is one I was out visiting Stinger, and me and Rob Belmore came up with that one. And the other one I believe we called Jailbreak or Jailbird, I believe.
Jailbird.
And they were really good last year. They're going to be good this year. They're just the right colors, when you were brown trout fishing. And that was the idea behind that. In the springtime was what baits do we need that we don't have. And they came out, and it was a good year on them. And Billy's just awesome to work with. He's always open-minded. And like I said, you'd never see him upset. I'm sure he does get upset.
You have to talk to my wife about that.
Yeah.
It's all this happiness. She sees the other side sometimes.
Right.
But
he puts a great face on, and he's the type of guy you want to, hey, Bill, this is what's going on. He also is a Browning rep. There's a lot of better hunting. I have and me and Elaine were out in Oregon, and I went, hunted for ptarmigan a couple weeks ago. And I sent him pictures of that, and it's just that's the relationship I have. It's more of a friend. I don't look at it like, oh, it's a business relationship. It's a friend. Like, hey, Bill, how's it going? I don't need anything from him. A handshake, a smile, a quick chat. Like that fulfills what I need from Bill Stupinski. He's that guy.
yeah, and don't let him sell himself short on those 4 colors that he designed.
Yeah.
Those quickly rose to be in our top 10.
Yeah.
And to this day, they continue to be in the top 15 of what we're selling. And we don't often see that when new colors are introduced. You'll get a little blip early, but the nice thing about the colors Casey came to us with is that they're ones that are going to stay. They're holding, they're still selling at retail, and they're still catching fish.
Yeah.
So that's what's pretty cool, and I say thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you and a team like that. It's unfortunate to be able to say that I represent that company and this guy right here.
Yeah.
He also is an Akuma rep. If you like Akuma, I don't personally use Akuma.
We'll discuss that later.
Okay.
Yeah, we have issues. He likes the other guys that
I'm a Shimano guy.
I hold against him. I forgive him. Everybody makes mistakes in life.
Yeah.
And he just.
So I like to bring Billy fishing every year on a charter, and it's like, friend, he tries paying me, I won't take his money. He's a good friend of mine, and I say, bring whoever you want. Well, I'm going to tell you, the guys from Dick's Sporting Goods, they can't fish. They were like 3 for 19. I mean, that's like horrible. You know, I go, Joe, how's it going? And he's like, sounds like you're ready to sink the boat. I lost another one. I said, what are they doing? I don't even know. Reeling upside down, you know. Just because you work at a sporting goods show, Chris, doesn't mean you can't. You can act the part, but you're not be able to do the part.
Right.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
It was rough, and we had taken to Niagara Falls, and then late at night, the first day got blown off. So
what a good
the boys didn't have quite the energy they may have wanted to have. So
yeah.
I used that. Give them a little slack.
Yeah, though they gave him too much slack. Apparently, they got off.
That could have been it.
Well, I wanted to ask you, you work with him on patterns and colors, and you just told me that they sold really well. What do you look for when you're going to go and do something with someone, like a project like that? What are you looking for in a partner? I know there's probably a lot of people out there that got a lot of ideas on how they should do things or what they should do. How do you decide, this is a guy that we want to get together with?
That's a great question. And there's so many people, both in the fishing, hunting, and camping arenas that I play with that, hey, I want to prove that for you. I caught this largest fish in the world. I'm the greatest fisherman, that's out there. And that's really not the way to approach it. I always said I'd rather have somebody that's a joy to be around, that can talk to consumers, and that puts themselves out there. Back in the day, it was who's writing articles in the magazines and, who's on the TV show. Nowadays, it's who's got social media followers, who's sincere about what they're talking about, and who's not going to be, I'm going to be with you for one day and then gone the next. I'm
going to add to that, and who's not going to be secretive.
Secretive is another one. Yeah.
You know what? If you're a pro staff, you're there to promote the product, not to keep it quiet, not to hide it. It's to help others catch fish and to help others be aware of what you're using or what that product is. And I see so many pro staffers that it's a secret. It's like they want, but when it's time, they're a taker. But when it's time to give back, they don't want to give back. You want to ask me what I'm doing? You can call me on the phone. I'll tell you what I'm doing. My report every day, I tell you. I don't care. I want you to catch fish, whether you're on my boat or not. And I think that's, why I work so well with him is that's what he wants. That's what you need to do as a pro staffer.
And for those of you out there, if you're going to go and talk to a vendor, or, boy, how do I get involved in the industry? The best thing I would suggest is, offer, to somebody like me who, I happen to have a sore foot and a broken foot. Hey, can I help set your booth up? Can I work with you a few days? Can I just sit back and listen to what you do and find out what the industry is about? I mean, I'm getting a little goosebumpy now because I've been in this a long time. And just when I think, people are aging out, there's a lot of old people in the industry, you'll get a young guy that's excited and enthusiastic. And I'm like, wow, that's the next generation of people in the fishing and hunting business. But, go talk to them, put yourself out there. It's always nice having maybe a small little single page of who you are, what you like to fish for, what you can do. And again, I've got a young kid that is now living in Maine. I met him at this show a couple of years ago. And he's out there, and I'll send him some saltwater product. He's constantly posting things, keeping me up to date what's going on, letting me know if we have issues with, particular rod or reel. And that's valuable information to get back to the factories. But yeah, you don't have to show me pictures of all the big fish you say or the tournaments that you've won. I just want to, have a human conversation with you and know that you're sincere. And but it's a great industry to be part of. Are you going to be a millionaire? That's tricky. It's more of a passion and love and laugh in what you're doing.
Yeah. I think it's really important. I get a bunch of stuff from people all the time wanting to, pro staff or want sponsorship. And that's what they always lead with is, the fish that they caught or the tournaments. And it's like, what kind of value can you bring to me is what I'm really looking for. And having people that are doing podcasts or people that have a big social following, like that's really important. And a lot of these guys, they don't even have that. That's like, well, I need you to help me sell product. That's why we're doing this. And that's just a big thing that people need to think about. Like, when you work with Casey on something like this, Casey's on my show talking about it. Casey's walking around the show floor here talking about it. Casey's got his own social media stuff that he's always talking about what he's catching fish on. And we just had a comment right here from Vermont Fishing Adventures. Cooper Boy is a lake trout killer on Lake Champlain.
He sure is.
Like those guys had to learn that from somewhere, and they take it out on their own and their show and stuff. So.
And I'll tell you again one more time,
he's being honest. He promoted, it was 2 years ago, he promoted one of our Oki Gibbs Delta flashers. I won't give
The bullfrog.
All right, it was the bullfrog. He promoted the bullfrog, and the following week, I sold over 2,800 pieces of bullfrogs amongst the entire lake.
Yep.
And you know how many people were caught, how many fish were being caught on that? Because he was honest.
Yep.
You know, it worked. So it's stuff like that that moves the needle for you.
We got a question here coming in from Jim Lemon. Jim says, for Chinook salmon, what action makes a great spoon?
What action?
Yeah.
All depends on the time of the year and the fish. You know, if you have aggressive fish, it could be a fast action. If you're talking slower later in the season, you may be slower. So, I mean, honestly, I think a stingray a lot of times will outfish a mag. Honestly, especially late season, I prefer that. I don't think, you know, we don't always eat a 32-ounce steak. Sometimes we want an 8-ounce fillet. You know, but if it looks right. So the best thing I can tell you is that, you know, listen to the fish. They're going to tell you what they want. To be able to take what the fish are telling you and put it in your program, that's when you become successful at it, you know. And they'll tell you every day what they want, whether it's speed, whether it's depth, size of spoon. Panoptics doesn't hurt to have. A lot of times you'll see them come in and look at something. They don't want it. They turn away. You change it to a bigger size or smaller size. Sometimes downsizing helps a lot too. And, you know, it's really that changes day to day.
Bill, what do you see?
I see what Casey just said. Seek that. No, I'd agree. The times I'm fortunate enough in my job to go out with a bunch of different captains, and I think what he mentioned with today's technology and what it's able to communicate to you instantaneously is just incredible. You know, whether it's a walleye bite on Erie, I get to do that a lot, or the, you know, salmon and trout fishery in Ontario, just seeing those fish come in and how they're reacting, and do what the fish want. We were, you know, similar example. I know it's not fish. I was ice fishing a few weeks ago, and my brother's in the hut next to me on Oneida Lake here in New York, and it was totally just the way you were changing. You know, I was working that, constantly moving it like that, where our guide had said, keep snapping, working hard, but they just wanted that little subtle movement. So
Kind of
same church, different.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
You want a Bloody Mary?
I don't.
Oh yeah, I'll take one. Yeah,
Good.
fancy, yeah.
I'm good. I'm all set. Thank you.
You want a Bloody Mary, Doug? All right, yeah, I'm gonna have one.
Casey's going to have a Bloody Mary.
Well, it's new somewhere.
Bill, is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we let you go here?
No, I guess last but not least, again, if you're out there, it's a wonderful industry. You know, be part of it, and you know, try to get back to it too. Here's another thing I like. A lot of people run a tournament. They say, "Hey, can you sponsor this? Can you sponsor that?" It's 100% payout. And nowadays, and Gibbs Delta, I got to give Rob Alcock credit for this. What are you doing for the fishery? Is the tournament giving any money towards rearing pens? Is the tournament giving any money towards how to make the fishery better, to promote the fishery? That's something that in my head I've been trying to do and pay it forward. And
Yeah.
and the other thing, I have a thing in my heart. I always try to teach 6 new people: fish, shoot, something in the outdoors. You know, it originally started with my wife. I married into a family that knew nothing about that. Now they're avid firearm orders and fisher people. So I try to do that too. Just take it upon yourself to do more to promote the industry that we all love.
Very good.
Thank you for your
Appreciate you
time.
coming on, Bill.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to have you. We'll pull that mic off you.
Billy, as always, thank you.
Casey, thank you.
Unflip.
What are you for this
There you
thing?
go. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by. All right, got our next guest just hanging out there. We'll have him come in. Thanks, Jim, for watching. Appreciate the comment.
There's a tip. Look at you. Thanks, man.
Come on in, Doug. Casey got himself a little juice.
Hi, buddy.
He's got to get his vitamin C in the morning.
Yeah.
Doug, good to see you.
See you.
This is nice.
Just
No?
yeah, put it on there like that. We'll go with that. Perfect. Doug Straub from Fish USA joining us now. Doug, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us. Glad to be here.
You're a staple. I think every year now we've had you here on the show. And was this the first time we've had you with Casey?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Normally he's with Pete. You know,
Yeah.
Pete
Usually-
Cherry picks him.
Yeah.
Not this year. Pete.
Casey recruited this year, so
Yeah.
good.
It is. I got Doug years ago at Wilson, and another. I'm going to repeat myself. I'm going to sound like a broken. Another great guy. Just always upbeat, positive. Pleasure to be around. And ironically, now I'm actually doing business with Doug at Fish USA with Hammerhead cowbells. It's pretty exciting, and before this podcast over, we'll announce one other thing we're going to do together, but we'll get to that in a bit.
We'll get to that in a bit. Let's talk Fish USA first. What's going on there at Fish USA?
A lot of good things happening. We're expanding significantly across the country. We've entered the surf fishing category, so we're getting into saltwater now, and really just trying to keep plugging away and really, I really enjoyed coming to this show, mainly because it's really our backyard. It's our roots of really where we came from and really got us to where we are today. But it's really exciting to see the growth and really seeing the younger guys that we work with getting excited, and it's just awesome to really be a part of a great organization.
Yeah, you guys are here this weekend. I think I saw on your Facebook page you're at like the Portland Boat Show or something this weekend as well.
Portland, Fishing Expo out there. We're spending some time out there, and we'll be at Louisville, Kentucky next week at the Catfish Conference.
Mm-hmm. So you've got Fish USA on your hat. That's USA, not just this area.
Absolutely.
Tell me about some of those other markets. We've got a Great Lakes audience here, obviously, but what are some of those other markets like for you guys?
Yeah, so we really cover everything: crappie, bass, really all species, and that's really the goal. It's Fish USA wasn't intended to just be one thing. We really want to sell nationally and really worldwide. So we're still in the process of that, and again, it's really neat to just talk to different types of anglers. The folks in the Great Lakes, they're very different than the folks on the coast, saltwater fishing, and just to see those different interactions, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, tell me about that as kind of from a buyer standpoint, where you can't just know about salmon spoons. You've got to know about what guys are fishing with out west and what guys are catfishing on. From a buyer standpoint, how does that what kind of challenges do those bring to you?
It's definitely challenging. At the end of the day, there's no one person that knows everything about fishing. We have to rely on our team, and we've got a great team of people that are very diverse, and from a knowledge standpoint, everybody's kind of got their little niche, but collectively, when you put it all together, we have pretty good knowledge. We utilize pro staff, finding people across the country, YouTubers. There's a lot of YouTube folks out there that are really, really helpful. So just really putting all the minds together and networking and working with everybody, you can put a pretty good product out there.
Yeah. What's going on with Fish USA right now in the Great Lakes market? I know you're doing Hammerhead cowbells, but what are some other products and other things you guys have coming in?
No, there's all kinds. We're always working on new stuff, whether it's our own Fish USA branded product, with our rods that we launched, all kinds of just custom products and things of that nature. But there's going to be a lot of new products coming out that we're working on internally under the Fish USA brand to really develop for the Great Lakes market and just provide something different for everybody.
Tell me about that. I mean, there are a lot of different retailers out there, a lot of places to order your things online. What does Fish USA do? What do you guys bring to the table that other people don't?
At the end of the day, it comes down to the people that you work with. And I'll put our team and our organization up against anybody's. It comes down to products, comes down to the people, customer service, shipping, getting things in a timely manner. Things are going to go wrong. You're going to have challenges, but how do you correct them, and how do you correct them in a timely manner? At the end of the day, that's all you can do. Well, no company's perfect. We don't claim to be perfect, but if there's an issue, we're going to take care of it, and we're going to work through anything that we need to work through.
Casey, what do you got for Doug?
I can confirm this, talk about happy people and positive environment. Cooper and Bubba, I had both dogs. They actually did a tour of Fish USA, and I don't know, there's probably 15, 20 people. Not one person was grumpy. Not one person was irritable or upset. It was just a positive environment. And I've seen that. If you have a positive environment, you can't have negative things come out from that because there's no room for it. It's only positive things. And that's what he has there. And from the front, when you walk into the place to when you're behind the scenes and see everything, everyone's positive. And that was one of the big determining factors when Elaine and I said, let's stop by. And we met Doug on the way back from when we were out hunting. And he came in on, I believe it was your day off. He came in, met us on his day off, and on a Sunday, I think it was, and brought us in, gave us a quick tour and talked with us. That's what you want when you're working with somebody. You want somebody that appreciates you as much as you can appreciate them. And that's what you get with him. Whether it's his day off, I can tell you right now, the guy works crazy amount of hours. He is invested. He's the employee that you want. He's the guy that you want to work with. He is the friend that you want to have around. That's the guy you want. And the results are where Fish USA has gone. and I'll say it, it's this guy has grown it as much as possible and as much as anybody right here. You know, he puts his time in and efforts, and you can see where Fish USA is going. And I got to say, it's because of Doug and his team.
I appreciate that, but I will say there's no one person. It really is a team. It is a team, and it's just an extension of not just the people there, but our pro staff, the people that we work with. It's, you know, we work with some third-party vendors. They're all family. They're all part of the environment and the fabric of what Fish USA is. And it's just a really special place. And I'm really excited about the future and the things that we're working on. I couldn't be more happy than where we are today.
Yeah. Tell me about, one of the things that I see you doing is you get out and do some adventures once in a while. Tell me about some of the places you've been over the last year.
So last year we visited Alaska with a vendor, which was phenomenal. We fished the Kenai River for sockeye salmon. We did a little bit of halibut fishing, and a few weeks later we went to Rhode Island tuna fishing, which was an amazing experience. We fished for 30, 40 pound tuna, and then we tried to do the fish for the giants, which was just fishing for them in that year. Man, there's nothing else like it. We didn't hook any, but boy, it was pretty cool spectacle.
Yeah, that sounds really, really cool. We got a question coming in here, and this is from Matthew Cam, and he says, any plans for Fish USA to make a light option in the flagship trolling rods?
Yeah, I mean, we're open to ideas. If anybody has anything for us, stop by the Fish USA booth and talk to me. I'm always happy to listen to what you got on your mind, and we're absolutely looking for more things and more applications. We don't claim to know everything, so we want to hear and get the feedback from the customers.
And speaking of that, we got a little feedback here from one of your customers. Jim says Fish USA has one of the best customer service he's ever been around. So very cool. He actually just popped in and said experienced, not expected. So really appreciate Jim for popping on there as well. And Casey, I'm going to put the pressure on you now.
What do you got, buddy?
I think it's time.
All right. Well, for me being around the lake as much as I am and having as many people get on the boats every year, there's one thing that I don't see a lot of, and even we can sit right here and just watching what walks by. What are we missing? Kids. We were just talking, me and Rob Westcott and Matt French. There's not a lot of young charter captains. So I feel like our sport, and I'm 43, I'm like one of the young captains, and I feel like our sport is really getting neglected from showing these kids what I got to see. Like my dad took time to bring me up and fish every year on the Great Lakes when I was 4 years old until 18, and then I started doing it myself. Now I get to bring him up here. So it's something I'm always really passionate about, and I love seeing kids catch fish. Me and Elaine were on the ice a couple weeks ago, and it was just, ironically, a guy walked out and he yells over at Casey, and I looked over and I'm like, yeah. And at first I said no, because I didn't know maybe he's going to stuff me or something.
Yeah, serve you some papers or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And then one of our automatic fishermen went off, and I said, come on, buddy. And his kid, I would say his kid was 7 or 8 years old, but he ran over, and I let him play the fish. It ended up being nothing huge, maybe 80-inch pike, but it was the only fish that kid caught that day. And he got home, couldn't wait to tell his mom, I got the only fish. That's awesome. Like, he's a great fisherman. The kid knew how to hold the fish better than most adults. His dad takes him fishing. Tyler, if you're watching this, good parenting. But his dad, he actually fishes with Tom Allen, but that's what's missing is the kid thing. So I got to talking to Doug a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and I said, I want to work with Fish USA to do something, and I want you to listen to this. I don't want, it's going to sound bad, but I don't want a kid that's been to Cabo or tuna fishing. I want a family that has a kid that can't get on a charter boat, or maybe the kid's into fishing and dad's not around, or mom can't take them, or dad can't take them. That's the kid I want. I want to take a kid every single month, April, May, June, July, August, September. I will pay for the lodging. I will pay for the charter. I want to take a kid every month fishing on one of my boats, whether it be me as the captain or one of my great captains on the boat. Something that Dirty Goose Sportfishing wants to donate back to get kids involved in the fishery, and working with Fish USA. There's going to be a post if you follow Fish USA. He's going to make posts where you know how to enter. Send in somebody that you want to think is deserving. I don't want somebody that's been on charter boats or somebody that's fortunate that could do it. I want somebody that hasn't been on a boat, that maybe they've only docked fish, or maybe their biggest fish is a bluegill, whatever it may be. Somebody that's deserving, tough times, that's the guy I want. It's not that I don't want to see those other kids that are fortunate enough to go do it on my boat. I do, or on somebody's boat. I want the kid that's going to take him to the next level. I want to make that memory he's going to remember it when he's my age or Chris's age or Doug's age, or when he's older, he's going to remember that and tell his kids about it. That's what I want. So there's going to be a link eventually on Fish USA's page. You can submit it into them. We're going to work together and come up with one night's lodging is on me, charter fishing on me. We're going to clean your fish for you, and we're going to make some memories. And that's, to be honest with you, I'm pumped about it.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I haven't really told many people about it. Doug knows about it. I think Pete knew about it. Pete probably forgot, though, because he's old. 20 minutes, he doesn't remember what he talked about. But regardless, that's something I'm really looking forward to and passionate about. I wish there was more kids fishing out there. And, I think Fish USA is cool with the kids. You see, they do things like that. I want to make it happen. And I hope if there's other charter captains that see this, copy me. Do it. You know what? It's one day, 6 hours of your life, but you're going to change some young kid forever. So it's worth it.
Yeah. Very cool. Glad you guys are doing that.
That was a big secret. So there it is. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about it, and I'm hoping to reach out to a few tackle companies and maybe get some swag for the kids, really make it something special. It's something that needs to be done because you don't see it. I see charters, and a lot of times, honestly, I feel like they bring the kid on the boat so they can get away from their wife. And we're taking the kid fishing. Next thing you know, dad's reeling the first fish in. Like, Dad, put the rod down. And then you get the opposite where the dad doesn't reel a single fish in. I have a guy, I'll mention him, George Albert. He brings his kid, I would say he's 8 or 9. He reels in every fish. Every fish. I'm this there, and I have another guy. The kid was 11 when he first came. Now he's 18 or 19. Same thing. His dad, if there's a double or a triple, he gets involved. Otherwise, it's all about the kid. And that's what I want. That's what I love seeing. And I think, Fish USA and Doug are on the same thing. And you too, Chris. As being a dad, you want nothing more than to see your boy do good.
Yeah.
I'm
thinking about bringing some boys out to see you this summer.
I'm ready for you.
I got one guy
that's ready.
Yeah.
We got to make sure we meet Pete Alex's standards because last time apparently a 12-pound, 14-pound, 17-pound brown on the same trip was stroking. But we'll see what we can do this year. I'll do my best for you.
Yeah, we got to make sure that we can hold it.
No, we'd love to have you. Elaine's got a beautiful cabin that she Airbnbs right in Pulaski. If anyone wants to come up and stay there, there's beautiful places you can go on Airbnb, but it's remote, quiet. There's fire pit. You're in the woods. You're about 20 minutes from the boat, and you'll love it. It's really nice. And
well, speaking of dads and sons, Big Lake Little Boat chimed in. Brian and Max, that's a father and son YouTube channel that does a ton of videos on Great Lakes fishing, but getting a lot of people jumping on, just saying good job and really appreciate you guys doing that. And I think it's something that we do with this show. The whole point of our show is to grow the sport, and that's really what, as retailers, as manufacturers, as charter boat captains, what we really need to do is focus on that, growing the sport, and just creating more people that are interested in doing this. Because if we don't, we're all going to be like on the corner shaking a pan or something.
My dad will send me pictures every once. I call him my dad. He's really my son. He's my 68-year-old son because it's payback now. But he'll send me pictures, and me and my dad, and my grandfather, he sent a picture the other day. My dad's got a perm because he was a hippie back then, apparently. I don't remember the perm, but I remember the fish. I remember driving the boat. I was 8, 9 years old. The old Cytex graph was burning paper in front of you. I remember all that. That's the stuff I want to have that kid come on my boat and remember, and I think it's huge. You don't see it. There's video games now. My parents used to ground me from fishing. I'd have a fishing rod hidden in different places. Yeah. I could play video games. We play Nintendo. It was the Nintendo and I think Sega Genesis or Atari or some bullshit like that. Well, first I did good. I'm an hour and a half in. As soon as I got the alcohol. I got.
As soon as you got the Bloody Mary, it came out.
But that's what I got grounded from. Nowadays, I feel like the kids are play Call of Duty or whatever the hell the game is. Get out and fish. Get out and walk through the woods and bird hunting, deer hunting. That's what we're missing. And I think the more people you can get involved and show them that, maybe I take 6 people out with kids and families and one becomes a fisherman. Awesome. Success,
Doug, anything else before we let you go here? You got a couple minutes.
I think we're good. I mean, I appreciate you having us on and looking forward to having a great show. And again, appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate partnership with you. And if you're looking for a fish hawk unit, you can get it right at Fish USA. And
Last thing,
go ahead.
I'm going to give you a warning. Doug has custom Smithwicks and custom bombers. After this podcast, there's going to be 36 missing. So you better get over there and get them now because Dirty Goose is coming to buy.
Yeah, that happens.
They got some hot baits, guys. If you haven't seen them yet, the brown trout stick baits, they're just the right size. Shane from Dreamweaver bought the Bay Rat blank, and he's made some Bay Rats again. I don't know if they're calling them Bay Rats, but it's actually the Bay Rat blank, and there's 12 colors over there. Riding Dirty, My Secret. There's more coming, but you definitely want to get over there and get those baits.
So yeah, you can go online.
I'm coming.
FishUSA.com. You guys have the booth here at the show. You got the booth out in Portland right now, and you come to Louisville next week. So
Absolutely.
always on the road.
Always moving
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah.
Appreciate
it, Doug.
Thanks
for
a lot.
stopping by.
Yep.
Doug,
Pull that mic
thanks,
off.
pal.
Yeah.
Appreciate
We
you.
got another guest coming on here. And
Awesome.
We're going to be in a few minutes. What's that? Oh, yeah. We got one more guy, Brandon.
Oh, here he comes.
20 more minutes and we'll be done. We can help you.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Down, yeah.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
How you doing? Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Let's put this microphone on you here. Awesome. Got Captain Brandon White.
That's me. Oh, yeah.
Hey, you're here with DeckIt, but let's talk fishing first.
All right, perfect.
This is the first time you've ever been on the show.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about what you do and where you do it.
Yeah, Rochester Sport Fishing. We're out of Rochester, obviously, but the unique thing about us is we run a multi-boat charter. So our large boats out of Braddock's Bay, salmon and trout exclusively, and then our 21 Fishmaster is a multi-species boat, travels around the Rochester and Finger Lake area.
So tell me about your season. How does it progress through the year?
Good. It's funny how every year, at least for me, doing the multi-species, different lakes take off, and whatnot. So, we had not a great ice season the last couple of years, which obviously changed this year. And places like Canisius, where they were getting hammered with the pike for a while through the ice and tournaments and whatnot, all of a sudden we didn't have ice for a couple of years and the pike fishing really exploded, and so it's cyclical, and some lakes they take off certain years, and a lot of the customers will ask me, where's the best bite? Where should I go? What do you think we should do? And we'll see now how this ice season affects, the future couple of years for different bodies of water.
Yeah. Tell me about the Great Lakes fishing out of Rochester.
It's good. Same thing, every year is different with how quickly the cold water gets to us. But this year, salmon was absolutely out of control. The first few, weeks of April into May, it was just insane for the king salmon bite. If you had deep diving stick baits down there, it didn't matter what color they were, what brand they were going. It was one of those where you had to reduce to one single treble hook because, they're just committing suicide and you didn't want to be pulling hooks out of the side of their faces and whatnot, or bringing in foul hooked fish. So, it's a good bite when that's happening.
When the bite's not happening, what do you do then?
Tell
me about what you do when the going gets tough.
Yeah, seriously. The one nice thing about Braddock's is that we have structure. A lot of places can't say that they have structure. It's mostly just a sand bottom. So thankfully we have structure. So whether we're fishing, in tight on rocks and fishing for browns, even if it's clear water, if you get there early, you can try and get on those browns before the sun comes up, match the hatch, super small baits, natural colored baits, light line, we can get in there. We have Watoma Shoals, which isn't too far away, so we have a really good natural lake trout habitat there. And then you can obviously always go offshore if you need to, but that's usually not your first choice just because it takes longer to get there.
Yeah. We've got about 15 minutes left in this afternoon's show, this afternoon's show. You got any questions for Captain Brandon White or Captain Casey Prisco, drop them in the comments. We'll get them to them. And, of course, we'll be naming our comment of the segment here towards the end too, and that will get you that Fishhawk Electronics swag bag that we'll mail off to you. But Brandon, anything else on Rochester fishing you want to talk about before we start talking about what you got here?
Oh no, I mean it's just a great place, and if you know if you know the area, you know how to read the water. The Genesee River is constantly pushing out good color water, and if keep track of the weather, and if you got an east wind or a west wind, and you track that good water down, you can always find fish. And that's where, thankfully, with a mobile boat like myself, maybe I can't handle the big waves, but I can have the mobility of bounce from port to port. So it's
Chase
not
the bite.
it's not hard when you got a mobile boat to just drive the shoreline and look for color. You can see it from the road, and that can tell you which way to go or what port to go out of, and get right on those fish right away versus a half an hour or 40-minute trek, for a docked boat.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk some DeckIt. You got that with you here. You're here at the show representing it. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, so real quick, so we're DeckIt of Rochester, and basically us as charter boat captains, we were looking for something to put on our boat, non-slip, cushion, because we're on the water for a ton of hours, something that looked nice, but mainly something that would hold up because we're on our boat so much, and we're beating our floor up so much, whether it's fish hitting the deck, customers on board, etc. So we found DeckIt, and so DeckIt is out of Charleston, South Carolina. We found that they had the strongest and most durable product on the market. It's actually on the Maid of the Mist. So if you go onto the Maid of the Mist, the top deck is DeckIt. All of their sightseeing boats have DeckIt on it, and they love it. It's probably one of the best decisions they made. They upgraded from the aircraft grade roll-on non-skid paint to all DeckIt. 86 different colors, everything's CNC'd. We're local in Rochester, we're mobile, we come to you, and we scan the boat, install the boat, and you work with us from beginning to end, no templates, everything's custom. Any issues, you call us, we're there to help. And new for this year, we have Evercore by DeckIt. This has been in Australia for 20 plus years. This is a renewable resource. It's the closest thing you're going to get to teak. Obviously, teak is pretty much extinct.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a non-slip, pretty much forever floor. Obviously, foam. This is a great quality foam. It's not indestructible, but it's darn near closing the foam market. But it's still
Can you
foam.
smash like a pop can on it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And
He asked that because I had a floor. I won't mention the name. I just got it on my boat, and Trevor gets on the boat. I think it was a Pepsi or Coca-Cola. Gets on it, gets done drinking it, puts it on the floor, and just stomps it out on my new floor. And I look over and he's not okay. No, it's
I
not.
thought he was going to throw him overboard.
I thought about it. I mean, if you didn't give me a fish hawk, I would have done it. I'm like, did that really just happen?
Well, you know what? This new product may be the product for you. This Evercore product, all renewable resource. It's a cork blend, and they don't actually kill the tree. They just use the bark off the tree to create this.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually set this on fire
Mm-hmm.
and then sand it, and it'll be back to new. This has been in Australia, like I said, for 20 years. You can scratch anchors on it. It is more expensive, but this is a one and done floor. If you plan on keeping it, this is what your boat for a while. This is what you want, and it's like having the nice high endness of teak, but it's got the strength and durability, for the longevity haul. Owning a boat.
And you can get this in a color that's going to be.
Oh
if
yeah.
you want it to look like teak, you can get it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep.
Color.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And the one difference with this and teak is it's customizable. So you want the lines, you don't want no lines, you want your boat logo in it. We can CNC anything in this. And you can either get it 3M adhesive to your floor if you want to be able to pull it up at some point, or you can 5200 it right down and it'll be there for longevity.
Yeah, it looks like Trevor's watching. He just chimed in and.
Do you have any response to that, Trevor?
True story.
Yeah, that is true story.
Is that something you regularly does?
So that was the first time. So Trevor's like a homebody. Like it's really something special to get him to leave wherever he lives. I won't mention that, but he shows up and like, all right, yeah, this is fine. 30 seconds on the boat. That happens. He does some weird fighting the fish. Like he doesn't hold the rod right. It was kind of like a Make-A-Wish trip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this guy, he designed fish hawk. I'm still questioning things. You know what I mean? It's all jumbled up there. I just try to forget about it. Chris is great.
I think it was a test.
Did I pass?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm still here, so I guess I passed. I didn't get red listed from Fish Hawk like some others, so I'm good.
Right.
And if you have any Park and Recs fan, you know, when somebody does something like that, straight to jail.
Yeah, straight to jail.
That's right.
Yeah. So you said this is more of a lifetime product. What are you kind of looking at typically for life on your salmon product?
So, you know, on the DeckIt, they give it 7 to 10 years in the saltwater market. Obviously, we got, you know, high temperatures, UV rays, and actual salt water, and they're using their boat 365 days of the year for the most part. Up here, you know, in our upstate New York and you know, the Northeast region, we're yet to see how long we could actually get out of it. But like I said, the biggest thing that I look at is the Made of the Mist has, you know, about 1.5 million feet hit that thing per year. It's out there in the mist of the, you know, coming off of Niagara Falls. It's out there in the sun. It's on the top deck and it's exposed, and it can handle that. So I'm sure they're going to put on more foot traffic in 1 year than you will in a lifetime, and everybody that's owned your boat until it goes to the junkyard.
Right.
So we're excited to see how long it can actually last in our market.
Tell me a little bit about installation. What's that like?
Yeah, so it's a individually scanned boat by myself. I draw your boat, create a CAD file. We're going to create a proof for you, make sure you like it. You can choose any color, logo, design. Then we come to your boat, make sure we have a nice clean floor. And then we're going to use a 3M grade primer with a 3M grade backing, and it's actually an acrylic bond. It's not glue, it's not adhesive. So that bond is like creating cement between the two to really hold it down on your floor. In the installations, the biggest thing, you know, anybody that tries to do this themselves with a kit, buying it off Amazon, etc. You don't know what you're doing. Just like, you know, somebody that installs a kitchen in your house knows what they're doing, and you're probably doing it one time and one time only. So installation is key to keep water from getting underneath it. Any bubbles, anything that could affect the longevity of the floor. You know, the seal on the edges is the key, you know, for letting it get its full lifetime on your boat.
So what he's saying is don't buy the stuff off Amazon. Just spend the money and do it right the first time.
Exactly.
Tell me about, you know, maybe somebody has a boat that's brand new and they're going to have you put it in, and that's probably pretty straightforward. But what if, you know, you're a guy like Casey Prisco that's got an older boat that's been all slimed up several times. It scales and everything probably all over the floor still. You know, he's caught a few fish. Can you still install it in a boat that's been around for a while and been doing this?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we promote here is that our boats in our region are from the 80s and 90s, you know, and that's not uncommon. So, you know, we clean it up. We have the customer clean it, you know, with something that's environmentally friendly like Dawn dish soap and water. And then we come in there before the install, and we do a deep clean to get any of that potential residue, any waxes off the boat, so that you're getting a nice, good seal on the product.
All right, Jim Lemon stops in. He says, does DeckIt have snap-in floors for a Lund 2075 Tyee?
So we don't do the snap-in with the DeckIt, and there is no template, so everything's custom, so we can do any boat. Yeah. But we do have other products that we carry, aquaweave products and products of that nature that are a snap-in option.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Casey?
Nick Sokolowski has a snap-in, doesn't he?
He's got partial, yeah. Partial. Yeah. He's got we can do some snap-ins. You know, it's not uncommon to do snap-in in certain areas of the boat. In terms of the entire boat, your fiberglasses, your aluminums, and even your epoxy resined wood, you know, we try to go with the adhesive base, but the snap-in is an option for certain parts of your boat. We can absolutely do that. DeckIt has a contract with, I believe it's Sea Fox, and they do some snap-in options for them, you know, so that you have the material there, or you don't, depending on what you want to do, whether you put on a cooler top, a helm pad, somewhere that sometimes maybe you fish, you know, a lot of center consoles in the saltwater, and they're moving that center console seat back and forth. So if you want it there for seating, you put the DeckIt on there. If you don't want it for whatever reason, maybe you're filleting fish on there, you take it off, fillet the fish onto the area, and snap it back on.
Sure.
So absolutely, yep.
What's been your experience so far, Casey, with using these?
With what?
With DeckIt. What's been your experience?
So I'll be honest, and I'll go right on your podcast and say it. Me and Brandon and his business partner didn't always see eye to eye. Life's too short to hold grudges. I like that they're in it they've done nothing but good things with their business. They've grown. 2 guys that took a chance to venture out and do something. So I'll apologize to you. I was a dick in the past. So I'll shake your hand here.
Oh, yeah.
I apologize. I'm not always perfect. I haven't used DeckIt. I've heard good things about it. I like that it's, once again, Chris, guys that are passionate about something are willing to take a chance to grow and do it. And how do you not want that around you? You know what I mean? Like, here's 2 guys that saw something, chased it, and they're obviously doing pretty good at it because they're still here a couple of years later, still doing it. And I know a lot of boats that have it and like it. So I'm considering doing it. I'm on mind to see if I like it. I'm not inviting Trevor on that boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or get this stuff, Trevor.
Plastic bottles.
There you go. Yeah.
Plastic bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think it's great. You know, I think it's definitely something that the fishery needs. Boats get beat up no matter where you're at. It could be the nicest marina from Wilson all the way to marinas down by me where it's a little, they're not as nice, you know, and you get rocks, you get scales, you get people that don't know no better. They wear work boots, and, you know, even though you tell them bring non-skid boots, you've seen it, you know,
Right.
they show up in the wrong shoes, or, you know, there's, no matter what you do, it's hard to keep a boat clean. And I think, you know, the advantage of having something like this is keep the floor wet, keep the blood off of it, and you're pretty much, you know, less maintenance. And that's key, because at the end of the day, when you've had a long day on the water, and he'll tell you, the last thing I want to do is clean my boat. If somebody wants a good business, boat cleaning business. If you're out there, you know, just do a nice soft scrub. When I come in, I'll pay you $40. You can be there for 20 minutes. You could do all 5 boats. I mean, you can make $200 good. I don't want to do it. None of us do it. I want to get home. I want to eat. I want to do my report. I want to go to bed. I'm whooped, you know. And this, you know, my experience with the company that I did use, it was okay to clean. You know, I've heard that this is nice to clean too. It definitely made it easier on the boat, you know, keeping it wet. I think it was nicer on my feet, my back. I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely, if you're going to keep your boat around, it's definitely something you should look into having, you know, 100% on your boat.
And the one thing that we tell everybody too is we've continually seen, whether it's been ourselves or customers, that this isn't just a decision for you in the temporary that you own the boat. It's going to increase the value of the boat. You know, just like anything else. You know, if you sell something with, you know, unfortunately, if your boat has carpet, you sell it with nasty carpet in there, you know, whether it's stained or whether it's been ripped or just tattered, this is going to help sell your boat. You know, that's one of the biggest things. You know, we spend so much money.
You're adding value.
You know, we're so much money on our fishing business, but even our non-fishermen, they spend so much money on their boat, you know, on canvases and upholstery and whatnot. And we've actually been doing a lot of bolsters because this product comes in multiple different thicknesses. We've been doing a lot of bolsters lately because you can spend all this money on bolsters, and client comes on your boat, you know, they put their thigh into it with keys hanging off the side, they puncture it. There it goes, brand new bolsters down the
3 years out of bolsters, maybe 4, and they're cracking. They're getting water in them,
Yep.
and it's a nightmare. You know, and it's,
you can stick a knife in it, that's an ink, it's just going to self-heal.
yeah.
And, you know, there's it's not like it's going to spread.
It looks good too. You know, that's what I definitely see where, you know, it's beneficial to the boat. It's going to add value. There's practicality of it, and the comfort of it. I definitely am going to do it.
Yeah.
I got to figure out if I'm doing that or that.
Yeah, right. You know, and I'll tell you, some of the people that didn't even think they were going to get value out of it, some of the charter captains, they put their logo or their name somewhere on the boat in the product. And, you know, I'm sure just like somebody catches a fish on your boat, that photo gets passed around how many times.
Sure.
But after the first couple of screenshots, it may not say Dirty Goose on there anymore,
Right.
right? Well, if it's in the floor, it's going to be in that picture, and it's going to be in the picture no matter how many
Probably
times.
says Vision Quest or something like that.
Uh,
He's a guy to steal photos.
You're just with AI, you can do anything.
right.
now, right?
Yeah.
Jim Lemon, another question. Just wanted to know if the vinyl floor needed to be removed before adding DeckIt.
So if it was to do DeckIt, yeah, remove the vinyl floor, get down to the base layer, because you got to remember, no matter what's on there, if the vinyl comes off, whatever's on top of it's going to come off. So, you know, if you were going to do a snap and it could go right over the top. If you were going to do a DeckIt adhesive based, then it's going right on the wood itself.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about with this before we wrap this up?
No, it's just we're super excited to have the Evercore product by DeckIt, and I think it's going to really change the market. You know, instead of making a temporary choice on your boat, you know, it's a one and done choice. You know, all those people that have been wanting teak, this is going to be the answer to your search.
All right, we got one question we're going to answer before we go here, and I think this is going to be fun with the two of you guys here, because I think you're both going to have different answers. Recommendations on electric downriggers, Scotty or Cannon, and then what's best for fleas, wire or braid? I'll let you guys both answer this question. Casey, you can go
Go ahead, Scotty boy.
Oh, we'll let Brandon go
So
first.
I'll tell anybody this. I tell everybody it's like apples and oranges because I get asked this question all the time.
Mhm.
Scotty product has been the same since it was created. They haven't made any changes to it. They're bulletproof, but they're very traditional. They work all the time, but they're not fancy. They just do their job. And Canon has all those options on it. It has hooking up to the fish hawk. It has hooking up to the hummingbird. It has a display board. So there's so many pros and cons, and I think it really depends on what you're going to use your boat for. In terms of fishing, are you recreational? Are you a charter captain? And how do you take care of your stuff? Because one, you have to worry about, one, you can tell it to bottom track.
Sure.
And you can tell it to go through revolutions. And will give you a ton more bites. But if you're not going to put your cover on it every time when you're done fishing and you're going to let that motherboard take on water constantly and get beat up, there's two sides to it, and I tell everybody, look at what is important to you and how you treat your stuff, and you make your decision. Yeah, I run Scotty, but I might not be the most careful person, in the world. I'd be worried about breaking.
So I ran Scotty's, and I switched to Cannons, and I'll be honest, I think Scotty does make a good product, but for what I'm doing and what I want, Cannon by far blows it out of the water. And so many features. Like he brought up a few, bottom tracking, the fish hawk. I love being able to be in the back of my boat, look down on my screen and see the fish hawk. I don't need a tablet. I don't have to go somewhere else. I can look right at my screen, see where my probe is, what the temperature is, what my speed is on any three of my riggers in the back. I can program my cannons for what I have. I use braid, and you asked about fleas. I use braid year round. 150 pound Power Pro. Rickajecki, same thing, 150 pound Power Pro. On the cannons, there's a retroes. That's how you're pulling your ball back in. If you pull that in just a little bit so that the wire or your braid's like this, it'll start to ball up the fleas. As they ball up, it'll start and it'll just hold it. Take the retroes off. It'll ball it up at the top. Take the retroes, put it down on my release. Fleas are gone. I run braid year round. No problems.
Yeah, just like if you're running wire, same thing when it builds up on the end of your wire and pop the fleas.
Right. But the biggest thing I say with the cannons, I can program if I have braid. So when I'm out there, if I'm at 101 down, my fish hawk reads 101 down. So my other riggers are all programmed the same. Knowing where your baits are is huge. With a Scotty, and I know guys have had this issue, it says 101 on their cable, and even if you're using braid, they're all over. They're different. They're marked. They bind up. They roll differently. They're not straight like this. They're sideways and fluctuates. So your 88 rigger or 87 rigger with 87. The next time you put it down, you want it to be 87. And you're constantly guessing. There's enough guessing when you're fishing. The less guessing I have, out there, the better. And Cannon does that.
You a wire braid guy, Brandon?
You made a good point. I have been a wire guy, but braid is definitely starting. I tell you, one of the biggest things is I'm huge on taking care of my stuff and trying to keep it in good condition and being diligent. But I'll tell you what, crimping wire, on your bottom clip can be a pain in the butt, and carrying the correct size sleeve, carrying whatever that little hook is. I don't know what the little hook is
I know
at the bottom. I don't know what they call it.
Terminator kit.
So, yeah, just the Terminator kit, and it's a pain. Being able to tie a Palomar knot with braid. I mean, that's huge because you can constantly get a nick, and it's not. I'll take care of it later. Clip it, done. So I'm really contemplating going over to the braid for that exact reason. And like you said, it's easier with the fleas, and it's easier with in terms of there's no fraying. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever stabbed themselves with a single fray of wire right underneath the fingernail. Oh, that's the worst thing.
I do with cowbells. When I'm building cowbells, it's 135 pound wire and it goes in. The other thing with the downriggers, guys ask about Power Pro or braid. Braid or cable. Cable makes noise in the water. Is there times I think that helps? Absolutely. But I think being stealthy is what we want. And that's where the braid doesn't make any noise. You're not adding any, positive ion control. Another feature of Canon You're not adding any ions where if you got electrical problem on your boat, that's going to generate right under your cables right down into the water. And that could be negative for them. If you use braid, that ain't happening. You're cutting it off. You could have the worst ions on the boat. Once it gets to that braid, it's not conducting. So it's not going in the water.
Yeah.
So that's just me. I mean, use what you're confident in. The biggest thing is you want to be confident when you're fishing. If you're not confident, you're fishing somebody else's program, you're trying to do something different that you're not confident in, the results are going to show. Do it. If you like cable, use cable. If you like braid, use braid. I think both products are good, and they all have problems. I'm going to tell you right now, Scotty's break, Cannon's break, Traxtex breaks, Magnum metals, everything breaks. Cars all break. They have a service department for cars. Nothing's perfect. Stuff breaks. I finished the bloody.
Got the bloody.
Yeah, the language is coming out. One drink and I'm swearing. Sorry, but pick the product that you like and use it. And they're both great products. Scotty came out with the Seeker, which is pretty much a fish hawk probe on 3 riggers. I personally don't want it. You might. Mm-hmm. I think the fish hawk has benefits. I don't want a tablet. To me, a tablet is one more thing I have to have on the boat. There's not a lot of space to start with. I don't want that. Mm-hmm. Not saying that it's not beneficial. Some guys may want that. I like 3 riggers. It's right there. It's convenient. It's quick. It's easy. And it's proven.
Yeah, exactly.
It's proven. Fish hawk's been around for a long, long time. There's Smart Troll that's out there, and I've had one, and I like the owner. I like the product. I don't use it personally. Fish hawk's all I need.
I'll tell you what, the one positive experience I haven't tested the lithium out yet, but anytime I've ever had an issue with a fish hawk probe, I put it in the mail, send it to you guys, and I get it back.
They're awesome.
The customer service is always.
Chris is awesome. Trevor's okay, but we can work on that, Trevor.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's only so much that you need to know. I'm a huge Panoptics guy. It's probably one of the first guys with Panoptics. I don't want to put an XR and look to see what my copper's doing out there if there's a fish chasing behind it. I don't have time to do that. I'm there to spend time with my people that are on the boat, to make a relationship with the guys that chose to come fish with me. Let's catch up on how was your year? What did you do hunting? Did you shoot any birds? How's things? We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about wives or girlfriends. We talk fishing, outdoors, fun stuff, the important stuff. I don't need to be scoping around. So 1 Panoptics, 1 fish hawk, some Cannons. Rest is good.
You're good.
Life's good.
Well, guys, I really appreciate both of you coming here. Casey hanging out with us for 2 hours today. Brandon, 20 minutes.
It was a struggle, but at least it was him, not Trevor. You know what I mean?
Appreciate you stopping by. It's good to have you on the show. And appreciate everybody watching. We're gonna give our swag bag Vermont Fishing Adventures. You guys have been joining a lot of our lives and was here with us the entire show today. So drop us a message and we'll
come to our salmon school. He's a good dude.
Swag bag coming to the salmon school. So you're going to get the swag package for this segment, and we'll be back on at 4:00 Eastern. So we're going to take about a 3 or 4 hour break, and we'll see you then. We got Captain Rob Westcott will be co-hosting for us in that segment, and got a lot of good guests. So we'll see you at 4:00 Eastern. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging out with me today, and we'll see you soon.